Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Super Game Brothers podcast. This is a weekly podcast all about the board games and video games that we are playing as two brothers. My name is David, and I'm joined every single week by my brother Devin for the third week in a row in person. Holy cow.
Holla at your boy.
3's a magic number, and we're here. Yeah.
On a Friday.
Yeah. Yep, a little bit later. We had a Wednesday scheduling conflict, but here we are. It's good. I got a haircut, too.
Speaking looking schnazzette.
Oh, thank you. Speaking of haircuts, that's one of the main reasons I wish I was rich. I would really like to pay somebody to cut my hair.
Oh, until I'm rich, I will. Nope. I have two things that I feel like are full-blown scams in this life, and that's haircuts and car washes.
Oh, man. I think... Okay.
Can't do it.
Let me throw this one at you. You've bought a brand new minivan. Cost $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
For $25 a month, you can get unlimited car wash at Quick Quack Car Wash. Pretty good car wash, in my opinion. So you can go every single day. In the winter, you got that like ice melt being thrown all over the freeway. Gets stuck to the side of your cars. Oh, it's fine. I'll just drive through Quick Quack every single day. Those $25 seem like a pretty good time trade-off to how many car washes that would be by hand to me.
I think if, as a person, you legitimately use it all the time.
We do.
Then maybe so. But for me, I haven't washed my car in like a year. The weather has washed my car.
That's true. The rain, nice free car wash.
Yeah. And I mean, if I really thought today I need this to look good, take the hose, take a microfiber cloth and call it.
Yeah.
Call it good.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then haircuts.
I'm definitely on board with the haircuts, though.
Once you're a man like me, and you're getting the hair on your neck and you realize it's going to be there in 2 days after shaving it, you realize how fast the hair on top of your head also grows. Not worth it. I'd be in there once a week trying to trim up little imperfections. And that's expensive, bro. They're like, let me charge you $30. And since we're like super sophisticated and like did the cool Edison lights in here, I'm looking for like a $20 tip.
Right. Because we have the Edison lights, but we pay our haircutters $2 an hour. So just like
are they like
a lot of places like that, like servers? Yeah, they make super tons. They're all tips. So then you gotta tip them because that's how they make money. But then I'm like, if I'm tipping you so much, why am I paying $35 to the hair salon? I don't know. There's a whole thing. So I've cut my own hair for years.
Oh, same.
And I don't like doing it. I put it off. That's why I looked so raggedy the last few weeks. But I don't know. It does feel refreshing. I was telling my wife today that when I do get a haircut, I feel like I can like tackle and conquer the whole world.
Ah, yeah.
Kind of fun. Feel like $1 million for 2 days until you start to get the stubble and then the hair starts growing over your ear and you're like, all right, I'm a mess again.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep, I can't do haircuts. I like to cut my own hair, but I just shortest on the sides. And since I wear hats all the time, it's just like the most botched fade you've ever seen. And sometimes I'll just shave it all off. I've gone bald 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah, that under hat fade. It doesn't need to be that perfect.
Nope.
Yeah.
I could cut my hair with this hat on. Just do the line.
The hat bowl cut.
Uh-huh.
That's funny. Yeah, that would be good. Cool. Well, yeah. 3rd time in person. This is fun. I don't know that I have a ton of new things since last week. I did go to TopGolf again, though, Devin. Continuing my obsession with TopGolf. It was a fun time. My friend that has this annual pass and goes 2 to 3 times per day, which is nuts. He lets a few of us in the neighborhood go with him every Monday. Super fun. And this week, I went with him a little earlier. And it was just the 2 of us for the first 2 hours until our other couple friends came. So I got a bunch of extra swings in. Man, some good swings. Hey, hit a drive 345.
That's very far.
That's the best drive I've ever hit in my life. It'll probably never happen again. But man, TopGolf's fun. I might go in on that annual subscription thing and just go every day, because it's only like 5 minutes from my house, which it's
close to here.
It's probably 10. They have a new one. There's the one up in Salt Lake City, but then there's a new one down here in Vineyard. So yeah, super close. So we can get there in like 10 minutes, and then we do a full 18 holes on.
Oh wow!
Because they have that kind of Tiger Woods golf simulation, and they only have 4 courses in there right now, but we're hoping they add a couple new ones soon.
Every time I've ever golfed, when we're done with 9, I'm the only one that's motivated to go another 9. Everybody else is like, oh, it's tired. Let's go to In-N-Out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, this has been so fun. Let's just do 18. So I understand the urge to do 18.
Yeah, once you hit the 9, I feel like is when you're getting into your stride. If you didn't like do a bucket of balls or practice at all, so I agree. And at TopGolf, you do it way faster because you don't have to walk to your ball or anything. It's just hit, then it's the next person's turn. Hit. It's just all
that
hitting.
Is nice.
No
I
walking.
think it's so important to do a bucket of balls before a course.
Oh yeah.
Think about it. If you're on a course through an entire 9 holes, if you're like me, you're hitting what, 36, 37 times.
Yeah.
But a bucket of balls, what are we talking? 100 and something balls.
Yeah.
So you're getting like 3 times the amount of practice before doing the course. I think it's probably worth it.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like whenever I've walked up to the first tee and I haven't hit a bucket of balls.
Oh my gosh.
And I got the 75-year-old men and probably 45 of them just staring at me on the first tee. Like, this is going to go right into one of your cars. So please don't watch anymore.
Oh, there's been times where I just tell my buddy, I'm like, hey, I'll just drop my ball where yours is at. I'm not hitting this tee box.
I hate the first tee. It's the worst. But man, TopGolf is super fun. I'm all in. I was hitting so many good shots. Apologies again for the train. They're still honking. We're hoping by the end of November they won't be anymore. But man, it's great shots. And that's a good feeling. And you get to watch it on the screen. You feel like, man, this isn't Tiger Woods PGA Tour. This is David PGA Tour 2025. Put my name on the box. I want the $10 million deal right now.
That's right.
So I don't know. I might get that pass. That would be fun. Because then we could go every day. Then you need your clubs back. Can you get those back?
No, I don't think no.
But yeah, super fun. Love TopGolf. Other than that, there is the big fight tonight. I think we're gonna at least watch it after the podcast. Who's your money on, Devin? You got it on, what's his name? Jake Paul? Is that his name? Or is that his brother?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, Logan's the other.
I don't know that I would put money on it. There's too.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
We're too connected. There's too many people saying everything's rigged. In the contract, it says he has to lose, and
right.
And it drives me nuts. So I'm like, I don't know what to expect, and I don't even know if I trust the results.
Right. Exactly.
And that's frustrating.
Yeah.
That's what I like about the UFC is you trust the results because those guys are insane and.
Yeah, they're not. Nobody's paying them off usually. You wouldn't think.
No, it seems like everybody that's in the UFC wants to win.
Yeah.
They want that belt for some reason. I don't know what's so special about the belt. What are you going to do, stare at that all day when it's in your house?
Heck yeah. You're going to walk around with the belt on. Nothing else.
You know how stupid you'd feel walking around with that belt on?
I don't know if I beat the crap out of, what's the Irish dude's name?
Conor McGregor?
Conor McGregor to get that bad boy? I think I'd wear it every day. He's the only UFC fighter I know. I think he's retired, hasn't he?
Oh, he might come back and fight Michael Chandler in the near future.
Oh,
Michael Chandler's a beast. As the most fit person I've ever seen.
I don't know any of the recent ones. Yeah, it is hard. How do they protect that, like, the sport sanctity? Because I even feel that way with like professional sports, like with the NFL and NBA. Like, is there like some kind of ref collusion going on? Does the NBA want the Lakers and with LeBron and Bronny in the NBA finals every year? And they want every series to go 7 games so that there's more commercials and more televised stuff? That is a hard thing. I wish that there was a way for them to be more, I don't know, transparent about those things in a way that I would trust. Because they'll never say like, yeah, we're, they'd never tell you. And so because they would never tell you, when they tell you the opposite, like, yeah, we never do any shady things, I'm like, well, I don't know that I trust you, because even if you were, you wouldn't tell me. So that's a hard thing with sports. But pure sport, I do enjoy. It's fun. So
pure sport,
like pure without like the behind like the shady deals in the back rooms. I think it's fun. Like these are the best two people in the world. They're doing their thing. That's cool. I think that's one reason I really like golf, watching golf. I don't know. That feels like a more difficult sport to fake. Like how would you rig that?
Oh yeah.
It's or even like tennis. I mean, because there are fewer like in tennis, there's not like a foul. There are some times when like the ref has to make a decision, like did that hit the line and was in or out or whatever. But I think then they can even review those. Whereas in like basketball, I mean, you might call 50, 60 fouls a game or something. I don't know. And so many important like decisions. You only get the one like challenge. Same with the NFL. Like lots of flags, $15 in dollars, 15 yards in a holding here and there makes a big difference. Whereas in golf, I hit the golf ball and there's 400 people standing on the sides of the course, and everyone knows exactly where my ball fell.
So and everyone's staring at you, judging you.
Yeah, exactly. Did you see there was a video this week of I think what's her name? Caitlin Clark, right? She's the
Oh yeah, she yeeted it into the crowd. I saw that.
You saw that? Yeah, she was on like the Pro-Am tour with one of the professional female golfers. And
what a weird world we are in. Anything that happens, we all just get a C within like a day.
I know, that is weird.
It's so odd.
Mm-hmm. Even this podcast, you can see within a day, which you better do. So that is a pretty good transition, but I didn't want to be done talking about golf, so we're not going to transition fully yet. But anyways, yeah, she totally clunked somebody. I would feel so dumb. And
I wouldn't swing if there were all those people right there. No way.
Yeah. I don't think I would either. I feel like all the professional golfers have hit somebody at some point. So it probably just comes with the territory. But yeah, I don't know. Sports that don't have that like natural like protection like golf and tennis, where it seems like it would be harder to rig. I guess you could like pay off a player and say, hey, I'll give you $5 million if you purposely play poorly. That seems less likely in that.
It's just so boring.
Right.
Like it seems like we're Utah Jazz fans, and it seems like they've been throwing on purpose for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, we didn't do well enough in the first 3 weeks. Let's just botch this whole season.
Yeah.
And it's the worst thing for viewers. It's like,
yeah,
this isn't even fun. I don't even want to go to the games because it feels like we're not trying as hard as we could. We're going to fake injuries so our favorite players are never on the court.
So that we lose as many games as possible so that we have a chance of getting the best players in the draft. It's not even guaranteed.
Yeah, that's
because they do like that lottery ball, like the bingo ball. And if you have the worst record, you have a slightly better chance at getting the number one pick.
Yeah, that's dumb. They should just, if you're going to make millions of dollars to play a sport, I think everybody should just like play as hard as they can.
Yeah.
I would love that life. Think about traveling the world with a team that you're so connected with.
Yeah.
And you're like best friends with all these people with the common goal of beating some other team in another city that's all close together and friends. That's such a cool life. You're making so much money for it. And then they're like, he had a nosebleed last week and he'll be out for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think most of those decisions are made above the players' heads, right?
I don't like those guys.
Like the general managers and the coaches and the owners and stuff like that are making those decisions usually. I would think maybe the players probably affect that too, but yeah, Jazz did beat the Mavericks last night though.
I watched that whole game. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, and it is fun, even if your team's not going to do very well, to at least have tight games. Like,
yes.
If you're losing by 30 every game, like it's rough.
If you're losing by 30, I instantly hit the Hulu button on the remote.
Yeah, exactly. I got better things to do.
Mm-hmm.
I got, I don't know, I could watch some Kung Fu Panda instead.
All day.
Yeah. All right, Devin. Well, this is the Super Game Brothers podcast. Like I mentioned at the top, we do this podcast every week and have been for 33 straight weeks. We haven't missed a week, and we never plan to. This episode is probably going to be 1 day late for our patrons, so I hope you'll forgive us for that, but we don't miss weeks. And I think that consistency will hopefully help us in the long run. Please make sure to check us out on Patreon if you're seeing this on YouTube. Over there, you can get some cool perks. You can follow the Patreon totally for free, but if you do throw us a couple bucks over there, you can write into the show. We'll talk about your questions about board games and video games live on the show. You can get the podcast 3 days early. Vote on the games we're going to play. Monthly Q&A, get your name in the credits, all kinds of fun stuff over there. So please check that out. We are a totally independent endeavor. We don't accept money from publishers for opinion-related content. So anything that you can support us with, even but just by liking and subscribing, helps us a ton. So that was a lot of so's and a lot of stuff. But please check us out on patreon.com/supergamebrothers. All right, Devin, we usually start with the news mini nuke, and we've got the news mini nuke today, but it's a tiny bit more mini than normal. And that is just because there really weren't like any cool game announcements, which is usually the first section I like to cover. There were some board games that are announced, but they're basically like remakes coming out next year. And I'm like, that's not as exciting as something new in my opinion. And we can't cover every single game or we'd be here for hours every week. So we're not going to be doing that. So we're going to start this week with new games to subscription services. So we're going to swap over to the computer screen and look at some of those. First up, we have the new games included with PlayStation Plus. What is this called? Premium? There's Plus is the middle one, and Premium. I don't think that's actually what it's called. PlayStation Plus Plus? PlayStation Plus Extra, sorry. Plus, Extra, and Premium. And they've got a few headliners here. Grand Theft Auto probably being the biggest one, and that's what we're going to start with.
Digimon being the biggest one.
Oh, yeah. Digimon survived, baby.
Dude, what a goated thing.
Well, we'll chat about Digimon in just a sec when we get there. First up is Grand Theft Auto 5. How old is that? 11-year-old game at this point, but this is the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 version. Grand Theft Auto 5. It looks like it's a re-release. It has been on PlayStation Plus before, but it's back on Extra. Got to get that hype in before GTA 6 comes out next fall. So if you're one of the people that hasn't played this, and since it sold 205 million copies, there are very few of you left, then play that.
I'm almost one of those people.
I am too. I've only played probably 20 minutes.
Yeah, I've dabbled on someone else's account for a minute.
Yeah, me too. It was just the open world sandbox. I've never played any of the story.
Yeah, they just said, try to get your wanted meter to 5 stars. And they're like shooting rocket launchers at me from a helicopter. And
yep.
I don't know.
Next up is Dying Light 2, which is supposed to be a great sequel. Dying Light is also supposed to be great. I think it had a few bugs at launch, but it's been out for like a year and a half now. So I imagine most of that is cleaned up. Also has a PlayStation 5 version, so there's that one. Like a Dragon Ishin is next. I think this is a spin-off series from Yakuza, and I don't know really much about it, to be honest. But if you like those RPGs that are kind of like Grand Theft Auto in Japan, that's what Yakuza is, but way more silly. Like you'll run around and like meet a guy that's like in his boxers for some reason, and it's like kind of a Japanese silly take on that. This is a spin-off. I don't know much about Like a Dragon, but there's that one. MotoGP 24.
Sick.
Yeah, if you're into the motorcycles. They make one of these every year, so I imagine they must sell pretty well, which is kind of crazy. The only motorcycle game I've ever played was Drive Club Bikes. They added a motorcycle like expansion module to that, and it was fun. I just care about motorcycles so much less than cars.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I found in that is they go so much faster, very hard to control. Just incredibly fast. But it was cool to pop a wheelie and stuff. You got an expansion pack for The Sim 4. That's not the name. The Sims 4 Island Living. So if you want to be cool like this guy, wear your goggles outside of water, then you can do that. Next up is, here's the big one, Devin. Digimon Survive for the PlayStation 4. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long this game's been out, but let's see. After getting lost on a school trip, Takuma Momozuka finds himself transported to a world inhabited by ferocious foes and new allies. Join Takuma and his friends as they fight their way back home. Digimon Survive is a hybrid visual novel and tactical RPG. I don't know that you like either one of those things, but set in a mysterious world filled with dangerous monsters and deadly battles that will test your ability to survive. There you go. I did like Digimon growing up, though. I had like this little Digimon device. It was kind of like a Tamagotchi pet.
Yeah, just like one.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, just like it's like a little less known, I feel like, than Pokemon.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And kind of nostalgic to me.
Yeah, totally. I also liked like the Digimon looked way more violent than like the Pokemon. I think there's even like dudes with like got a total like cannon arm or something. So it did seem a little more hardcore. But I don't know. Was it hardcore? Probably not.
Probably not.
Next up, very cool game. If you haven't played it before, Overcooked All You Can Eat is the, I think, bundle of Overcooked 1 and 2 with all like the expansions and stuff for PlayStation 4 and 5. Very fun, cooperative game. I think you can even play online. So very, very cool. If you make sure you play with people that you're okay getting in a little bit of a fight with, though, because this game can be brutal when you're like, why were you not chopping the onions? So it takes it's very hard. Getting 3 stars on all those levels is tricky. Fun game, though. Next is Stick Fight. The game, never played that one. It looks like Super Smash Brothers as stick figures or something. With, that looks like blood. So maybe a little violent. It does. Next up is Clash. Artifacts of Chaos. I don't know what that guy is. You ever seen a thing like that before?
No, reminds me of Borderlands mixed with Nemesis. Kind of.
Yeah, I don't.
And he has a little friend creature on his back. Little owl.
Yeah, what would you call him? He's like, kind of looks like one of those dust sprites or whatever from Totoro. I don't know if you've ever seen that, My Friend Totoro.
I have one time, yeah.
This is a very old one. And yeah, him, I don't know what he looks like. He looks like a Star Wars character that I don't know, had his like throat punched through and then was sewn back up. That's a lot of time spent on a picture that doesn't matter.
Download that game.
Yeah, there might not be a keeper. Killer Frequency. This is one I've actually almost bought a couple of times. Looks like it might be kind of fun. In this horror comedy game, you must solve puzzles to save callers from being hunted down by a mysterious killer. I think you work at like a radio station, and people are like calling in to like normally to request like the next song. Then someone's like calling in and they're like being hunted by a serial killer, and you're trying to save them by like the kind of a fun little puzzle idea. My mouse is going up instead of down. Hungry Shark World is next. Oh man, look at those sharks.
Wow.
Game looks hardcore. Become a shark and spread terror on the beach. So I feel like this was a mobile game where you were like a shark and you have to eat smaller fish. I don't know. Chivalry 2 is next on PlayStation 4 and 5. It's a multiplayer first-person slasher inspired by epic medieval movie battles. 64-player cinematic battles. Pick your play style with 4 classes and 12 subclasses. Haven't played any of those, but well, any of the Chivalry games. All right, then if you have Premium, the top tier, there are a few more games. This one is supposed to be excellent. It's called Synapse for the PlayStation VR 2. And I think it's kind of like super hot. I don't think it has like the time slowdown thing though. So anyways, it's supposed to be great. Then there are 2 older games from the PlayStation 1, I believe. Blood Omen Legacy of Kain for the PlayStation 4 and 5. And Blood Omen 2 for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. I've played a little bit of the first one. Very old-fashioned, but kind of cool. Then a couple more. Resistance.
Ooh, that's nostalgic for me. Resistance.
Yeah. I very much want to play these. This was kind of a bad news moment, in my opinion, where they released this blog post and everyone was like, oh, sweet, this is a PlayStation 3 game. That means they have a PlayStation 3 emulator on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. But that is actually not the case. I'm sorry, everyone, for my kids screaming. They're being a little loud in the background. So these are streaming on the PlayStation Plus streaming service or whatever. But now all three of them are available. They used to just have Resistance 3 streaming, but now they have 1 and 2 are being added along with number 3. So you do have to stream them, though. That was confirmed, I saw on Twitter kind of a few hours later, and everyone was kind of mad. Release them for reals. So anyways, if you have a PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, then Extra or Premium, I should say. And those are the new games that you can get starting on, I think, Tuesday, which is the... making you dizzy from my scroll. Oh, it doesn't say here in the post. Oh, yeah, it does. 19th. There you go. All right, new tab here. 2 free games this week on the Epic Games Store. First one, definitely add to your collection. This is an awesome game. Castlevania Anniversary Collection. It has like 7 Castlevania games in it. Castlevania 1, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, Castlevania 3, which I think is called Dracula's Curse, that's the one. Then Castlevania 4, which was on the Super Nintendo and has just banger music. Such good music. I mean, all Castlevania games do, but that one's really great. Then a couple I've never played. Castlevania Adventure, which looks like it was on the Game Boy. Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge, also on the Game Boy, I think. Castlevania Bloodlines, which I don't know what that one was on. Maybe the arcade. And then Kid Dracula only came out in Japan. You play as like little baby Kid Dracula. Anyway,
very odd.
But those first 4 games, man, they rule. So add those to your library for sure. Castlevania Anniversary Collection. And then the other game is called Snakebird Complete. And to be honest, I don't know a lot about this one, other than it said it has here challenging puzzles as the genre, which I'm like, okay, I guess I'm in. The ultimate Snakebird experience. Embark on an extraordinary puzzle-solving adventure, bringing together hit classic Snakebird and Snakebird Primer, offering the complete Snakebird package. You don't want the smaller Snakebird. You want the full package.
Can you imagine having the smaller version?
I know. Embarrassing if you did. But I love puzzle games, so this I might actually try this one out, even though it looks very weird. But I do like the way those weird Snakebirds look. And that is how I would describe one of those. Like, have you played Snake? That's how they move. But then their head is an angry bird or something.
Yeah, it is, truly.
So, anyways, those are the 2 free games this week on the Epic Game Store. And I think that is all for the games new to subscription services this month. So, or not this month, but this week. Next week, we'll probably have Wave 2 for Xbox. And we might have December's stuff pretty soon, too. But anyways, that is it for that section. All right, Devin, that brings us to what we've been playing, I believe, right? Is that the next segment we usually do?
Yes, sir.
Sweet. Well, I've been playing a couple things. I finished Crow Country. It was actually funny. After the podcast last week, we were so tired, we like slunk down on my couch. And I was like, hey, I'm on the final boss. And just kind of beat him there and finished the game. So you were here for that. I feel like... really liked this game. I'd give it like a 7.5. Like, I don't think it's the most amazing game in the world. I might even give it an 8. But I really enjoyed the puzzles and the length of it. I think it's a pretty good value. It was probably 12 hours long for me to get almost every trophy. I think I found all the secrets. There's one annoying trophy in the game where you have to get like an S tier. And to get an S tier, it's judged by how many secrets you found and how many med kits you used.
Is there a time limit?
I don't think there's a time limit.
It makes it doable, but
yeah,
like a ton of research has to go into that. It's like,
right.
I need a second monitor. I have my guide and I have to do it step by step. And it's like, is it worth it? Is the game good enough where if I replay the entire game with perfect strategic gameplay?
Yeah.
I don't know. Would it be worth it to you?
It is hard. I look at trophy lists before I start a game, because then I usually make that decision then. I'm like, okay, I know this is the one annoying trophy. Do I want to try it? And so I tried for like the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then I accidentally stepped in a bear trap.
Oh.
And took some damage, and I was like, man, if I can only use like 3 med kits this whole game, I think I'm going to end up hating the game. Right? Just because and I don't want to ever hurt my experience with the game either. So I think about that too. I enjoy finding all the secrets. They were fun. But am I going to stretch this game into 25 hours because I'm going like 10 feet and then saving, and then 10 more feet and saving, and being ultra cautious when I probably would have enjoyed it more at the 12 or 15 and just played through, not worried about it. And so that's what I did. Didn't get the platinum, but that's okay. Really enjoyed it though. I would maybe play it again in a year or so. Maybe next Halloween I'll play it again and try to go for it. Anyways, Crow Country, really good. I think it's $20 full price. Yeah, and I think it's definitely worth that. But if you are able to get it on sale, then absolutely worth the sale price. So finished that one up, and then I played a ton of Vampire Survivors, and I mean a ton, because last week I mentioned that I had just found out that it now has a co-op mode, and I was contemplating if I should tell my kids, because then they would always want to play instead of just watching me, because they've been kind of into just watching me. But I did tell them because my wife is actually really into this game.
Oh.
She really enjoys it, just kind of because it's like, the game is just like the quote that just came up a minute ago, like pure dopamine. It really is. You're just running around and you get these crazy upgrades, and every minute you're killing like 5,000 enemies, and you're getting these XP bells and alarms are going off and stuff. So we've been playing a lot of this co-op, and it's really fun. I love Vampire Survivors. I'm really surprised at how much content is in there. I got the game for $4, I believe, because at this point I haven't bought the Castlevania or other DLC packs.
Yeah, there's some DLCs which make it look sweet. This is my surprise for the week. I've been playing the crap out of this game.
You have?
Yes.
That makes me happy. Okay.
Our cousin and I have...
Were you playing co-op?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just split screen. Well...
It doesn't split.
But... Yeah, it doesn't split, but man, oh man.
It's fun, huh?
It is. This is it's a dopamine hit, but also just brain rot. Just like...
Yeah.
Because you're not in charge of your attacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like...
You don't...
Okay, let me just constantly upgrade my character, and then he's just doing the extra things that I added.
Yep.
And...
There's only a couple weapons, like the dagger does throw where your stick is pointing, but I think almost every other one...
The knives, yeah.
Doesn't.
But man, we have played the crap out of that game. We have almost every upgrade in the main menu.
I have all of them.
We're getting close.
You will... Spoilers, that's not all of them. Just a...
Yeah, they're definitely adding some.
Yeah.
We have most of the characters. We just got Santa.
Oh, you did?
Uh-huh.
I haven't gotten any of those crazy cool ones yet.
It was tough.
Was it?
You have to last like 20 minutes in the laboratory to get Santa.
Okay.
And we died at 20 minutes. It said game over. It did not say stage complete. We died right at that exact second, and it gave them to us, and we were just like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. There's been so many times.
Does that one have a 15-minute time limit?
It had a 20-minute time
before
limit.
Death comes?
Yes.
Okay.
We've been trying to kill death.
I know. I've been trying
Good
so
luck.
hard.
I've looked at... Yeah,
You've looked it up?
It's supposed to be extremely hard.
Okay. But it is possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
Wow.
We've basically been playing the game in a way where we do a round, make sure we get every relic on a map, go towards items.
Yep.
It's weird. Sometimes in a round, you'll feel completely underpowered and you're just escaping.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden you have a few upgrades and you're just wrecking.
I feel like if you ever get a chest with 5 upgrades in it,
oh man,
you feel way strong for like a couple minutes.
Oh yes. We've been playing the game where we look up how to get evos of every weapon.
Okay, like the combo, because you have to have two things, right? The combo together.
And so we've found most of them. Like we've had Evo Garlic, Evo
Garlic is really good.
Yes, we've evoed most of the abilities.
I think I've done most as well. I guess. Question: what's your favorite weapon?
Evo Santa Water's insane.
Yeah, Santa Water is one of the best ones. Garlic, I think, is one of the best ones. I really like the Bible as well.
We haven't
the Garlic and the Bible.
Have you evoed the Bible? We have not.
I don't think I have either.
We've gotten close, but I like them all for different reasons. The Evo knives are insane.
The only one I don't like is the whip.
Yeah.
Because it's like seems so limited. Like I always have to be on the left or right. I'm guessing if you upgrade it enough, maybe it goes up and down too. But I've just not tried.
The whip. I think there's a second whip Evo.
Oh,
you have to get the first Evo whip and combine it with a different whip to get a third whip.
Wow.
I don't know. But
is that like after you've unlocked Limit Break?
I don't know. What is Limit Break?
It will let you upgrade your weapons beyond their natural limit, I think.
Oh, really? We've been playing on Hyper.
Yep.
And the movement speed's just better on Hyper.
Yeah, it's crazy though.
But we turn off Hurry because a lot of times you're just getting to your build.
And then it's done.
And then
because it cuts the time in half, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But man, he loves the game. It's honestly just like
it's so fun.
Cool, I can lay here and just hold the controller with my left hand and run.
But you're still having fun. And it still feels like you completed stuff. And have you unlocked adventures?
I don't know. We've unlocked a lot of bonus rounds, but I don't know what is adventures.
I don't even know yet. That's the newest thing that we just unlocked. And when you unlock that, it opens an entirely new menu. It's not like the main menu. You click adventures mode and it takes you to the adventures menu. And I haven't even played with that very much, but man, there's a lot of layers to this game.
There are, and it's a crazy game. We've died so many times with 25 seconds left.
Oh, really? Right before the 30?
Yeah, pretty well balanced, but there have been some rounds where you're just unstoppable.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to the game. Really cheap DLCs. Yeah. I think everyone should just buy all the DLCs so they have access to every type of weapon and character.
Do you have all?
We have not, but I think that we should.
Yeah, I probably will too. I've heard the Castlevania DLC, which is I think $4 instead of $2, like all the other ones, is supposed to be excellent. So yeah, really, really love Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, we just spent a lot of time on this game, but it's fantastic. It's funky.
It really is. On co-op, I feel like there are more enemies too.
Oh, probably.
I'm guessing it scales that way, but have you figured out? This is a question. If you don't want any spoilers, then maybe skip ahead 30 seconds. Have you figured out what the items do in that one stage where there's like the left red arrow and the right red arrow, and then the gold ring and the silver ring? You haven't
in what kind of mode?
It's just regular mode.
And when do you see this?
I don't know how to explain it very well. I might have to show you on my PlayStation after the pod or something. But if you don't know what I'm talking about from those, then you're not going to know the answer, I guess. But yeah, man, Vampire Survivors, just super great.
I have one complaint.
Uh-oh. Let's hear it.
They've got to get rid of the chest animation.
You can push circle.
No way.
Yeah.
I am so tired. I don't even want to pick them up.
Yeah, if you push circle.
It's like 15 seconds.
Yeah, if you push circle, it skips right to the end.
I've spammed X is all I've done.
Yeah, you gotta push circle.
Basically, in the game, random enemies will drop a chest. Yep. You go to pick it up, like you're seeing on the screen right here.
And you have to grab them, because if you don't, you have to get those.
Yeah, you always want them because they upgrade stuff, and sometimes they'll upgrade 5 upgrades in one chest. Like
those are awesome.
But the animation, it does like this song and tells you how much money you're getting, and everyone's like, and you get so used to the song that you know the song, and it's just exhausting. And then the chest lands, and it gives you one item, and then waits 5 seconds to tell you the description of the item, and you're just like, I don't even want to play anymore.
Yeah. No, you can skip through them with circle.
Did that drive you crazy?
It did at first, because I was pushing X2, and I was like, well, I guess there's no way to skip these. But then after playing like half an hour, I was like, these are like literally a quarter of the time I'm spending or something.
Oh,
because you open like 30 of them a level. So yeah,
good
you can push circle. So
cool.
we solved that one. It doesn't take the time completely away. Maybe there's something in the settings where you could like get rid of the animation completely. That might be.
I looked and
did? Okay.
The settings are super limited. Should we just change this podcast to just a Vampire Survivors podcast?
Yeah, we'd probably do better. So I don't know. But yeah, if you push circle when the chest animation is going in co-op, it has to be the person earning the chest that pushes circle.
Yes. It's interesting on co-op. The other person has no access to your menus.
Right. Yep. So yeah, the circle will cut that down from probably 20 seconds to like 2.
Mm-hmm. Last thing I'll say, if you have a significant other or you're dating someone and they are not into video games, they might be into this video game.
Yeah.
Because all they have to do is either run towards or away from enemies and choose fun upgrades.
Yep. Like I said, my wife really likes it.
And I understand why.
Yeah. It's basically like, I don't know what you call it, like an auto Castlevania. Like, I mean, it's definitely made to rip off Castlevania, like at least aesthetically, which is kind of funny that then they got a partnership with Konami to actually make a Castlevania DLC. But then it's much simpler. You're not jumping and falling down holes and stuff. It's just move your character is all, which sounds like it would be super boring.
It does,
but it's not. It's great. I'm really excited. That was a cool surprise. That that pumped me up that you had played this.
Yeah, me and our cousin, we are obsessed right now with this.
It's great.
Who's your favorite character? You still doing the XP character?
I usually use Imelda. Yeah. But I've started to branch out a little bit because I've beaten almost every stage with her.
Have you done the dog?
No, I don't think we've unlocked the dog yet.
Okay. We've used most of the characters. I think we've used every character that we've unlocked, and I would say we've unlocked 70% of them.
Okay. You've unlocked more characters than I have then.
I like and it's kind of worth it because we call him the sloth.
Okay.
But it's nice to use the other characters because they come with a different starting weapon.
Yep.
And it helps you to get evos, so you don't have to actually unlock that weapon.
Yeah, because it is a little random which weapons are going to spawn in the level.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that starts with garlic, my kids really like because
the guy with the cane.
Yeah,
that's funny.
They like that is his name. They like the garlic because it helps protect them because they're not quite as good at dodging.
I like definitely the coolest looking character in my opinion is Kochi,
the red demon.
What a cool!
He's very cool.
Way cool. In my next life, there he was right there.
Yeah.
In my next life, I want to look like him.
Kind of reminds me of that character in Tekken where you had like the angel and the demon character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he is very cool looking. What's his? Is his the cross?
What would his species be? I need to know because I want to be that.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, we'll look it up afterwards. Anyways, Vampire Survivors, fantastic. Let's get on to the next game.
Very good. Well, that was fun. This is gonna be the Vampire Survivors podcast for the next few weeks, probably.
VS podcast, and that's not Victoria's Secret.
Well, fun. I'm excited to get the DLC. Try to unlock all the stuff. There's hundreds of trophies in the game too. There's like a lot to do. Very well deserved. This guy has definitely made millions of dollars at this point. Good for him because it's fun. All right. Other than that, I think those were the 2 games. Oh wait, no, I started another one. So let me pull it up here. Devin's throwing them up on the screen. Very nice of him. I started Ranger. Let me turn that off. And a Ranger is a puzzle game. It's kind of a slide puzzle where every time your character moves, the grid of squares, either in the row or column that you're in, slide. And you have to... It kind of has this fun story or this character that's going out from this orphanage community that you were a part of, and you're trying to like figure out what's going on with the world. I'm not very far, probably 3 hours or so in, but it's really fun. I love puzzle games, so it's right up that alley. There's a lot of times where you there's like a big enemy blocking the path, and you just have to figure out a way to get the sword to them. And so it's and this is actually a boss. I fought that boss. So there is like some bigger events going on too, but it's all about that slide puzzle. Very fun. The artwork also is by the artist that did the artwork in Braid, and it's just amazing. Really, really pretty. Very much recommend it if you like puzzle games. If you don't, then I don't think it's for you, but if you like a good puzzle game, it's very, very cool. I just enjoy the it's even fun as you're moving around. Like I could go left 25 times down this path or I'll just hit right once and bloop, now I'm at the end of the path because it does loop.
Oh, like Mario?
Yeah, kind of. Mm-hmm.
Like where you exit the right side of the screen and show up on the left?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Only in the specific column or row that you're on.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, very, very fun game. I don't have a lot more to say about it at this point, but if you like puzzle games, I think it's really good. I think I got it for 12 or 15 bucks or something. So, very good. All right. For, I guess, any other surprise video games, Devin?
No, it was hard for me not to bust that surprise out since I've been here for a little bit of time.
You have, yeah. No,
that was like, I ain't going to talk about it until the
You held that close to the vest, and it about knocked me out of my chair, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, speaking of close to the vest, we got some vest bomb-wearing animals.
We do. I played this game for the first time. It's a pretty new deduction cooperative game called Bomb Busters. And this game, it reminds me a lot of another deduction game that I really like called the Shipwreck Arcana. Devin, you've played that one, where like you draw 2 tiles that'll have a number from 1 to 7 on them, and then you have to place one of those tiles in front of a card. The card might say, you can only place your tile here if the other one that you still have is an odd number, or something like that, and then you're trying to guess.
I played this?
You did, but it's okay. It's been a year or so.
Okay.
This one's kind of similar. Every player has a stack of wires. Let me see if I can zoom in on them here a little bit. Whoa, that was ultra zoom. Let's unzoom that. You can see that probably. You have a tray, and you have wires that are blue, yellow, or red, and you're trying to cut all of the wires in order to defuse the bomb. If you ever cut a red wire, bomb explodes. If you ever cut a wire that isn't a match, then this little dial moves down, and if it ever hits the red, then the bomb blows up and you lose. When you get all your tiles, you're going to put them in ascending order from left to right in your tray, so everybody knows that your tiles are in a certain order. You also know kind of what yellow and red wires are out, and that somebody has some of those. There's 4 of each number. This game's a little hard to explain, but once you start playing it, it's really fun. And on your turn, you can do one of a few different things. The main thing you're going to be doing is making a guess. So you will point at another player's tray and say, Devin, is that one a 12, for example?
Go fish.
For a 12, I'd probably point at the one at the farthest right on your board, because 12 is the highest number, right? If it was, and I can only say guess if I also have one of the same number, then we were correct, and we both lay down our 12 in front of the trays to show that we have snipped that wire successfully. If I was wrong, then that's when we would move the dial. So you're trying to figure out which of these shuffled wires each player has. The like I said, the red ones, if you ever accidentally cut one of those, it's an immediate loss. And the yellow ones can only be cut by another yellow one. Very, very fun game. It's a fun, you're trying to it does have a limit on communication, but you could kind of house rule that a little bit to say we can talk a little bit more. That's kind of the one tricky thing we're trying to figure out, is what's the perfect balance of how much we can or can't talk. One of the main selling points of this game is this here. It has 66 missions in the game. So you play mission 1, which basically just teaches you how to cut wires. So everybody just gets all the blue wires. There's no yellow and red ones. And then it slowly scales up to mission 8. And that's the one I actually started with. We skipped 1 through 7. And mission 8 is just the base game with blue wires, with red wires, and yellow wires. And the red and yellow are randomly put in out of a set of, if there's supposed to be 1 red out of 3, then you pull those 3 that are like the 1, the 5, and the 7, put them face down, shuffle them, and only one of those will actually be in the game, but you don't know which one it was, the 1, the 3, or the 7. But then from there, every time you beat a scenario, you go to the next one, and I think there are 6 boxes inside the game that are supposed to represent these other villains. Yeah, you can see it kind of down here. Let me see if I can get us there through a little scrolling and sliding. Yeah, so when you get to scenario 20, for example, you will open this box, and it has new stuff in it, like new cards. The first box I opened for scenario 9 has like a couple new stickers, and those stickers have a little rectangle in the rule book that says like a new rule is coming here later, and you actually stick the sticker in the rule book. Oh. So they add more to the game. It becomes a little more intense. Some of them, this isn't really a spoiler, will have like a set a 15-minute timer on your phone, and for this scenario, you have to finish in that time frame. But they also add much more than that. Pretty popular game this year. That was the first time I'd played it, but I think it could be a hit. It's pretty cool. So that was Bomb Busters. Only played one game of that one so far. Next up, this game delivered this week. It is called Daitoshi and is the latest game from Danny Garcia. And Danny Garcia is a designer of games I really enjoy. He makes pretty heavy Euro games. What's going on here? Get off the screen. And this is a pretty heavy game too. I think it's almost a 4 on the complexity scale. But to be honest, I don't think it's that complex. It's pretty straightforward. This game's from Devere, who I really enjoy. Has really cool components. These steam pieces at the top and these wild markers right underneath are both acrylic. So they're like this cool plasticky piece. You use that steam to run your factory. Each player has their own factory board, which is shown on the bottom right. It was my factory board. You have like a steam chimney and all these inventions you're slotting over here on the bottom right. Very fun. On your turn, you can either take a production turn and produce in your factory, which will give you a bunch of stuff, or you can do a city turn, which is to move your magnate around this circular board. You only move clockwise, so it's not like too confusing. And the board looks busier than it really is. There are 5 spots, kind of pizza slices of that circle, and you move your dude forward to one of the next ones and take some actions there. You'll place out some workers. The workers have to match the color of that district and stuff like that. Really cool game. Really liked it. I played solo. Took about 2 hours and 20 minutes, maybe. Which is a little long for a game, but it's a big, meaty experience. So I don't feel like it was overstaying its welcome or anything. Really enjoyed it. I'm excited to play it not solo. Because even though this bot, I feel like, was a simpler bot to administer than Ironwood, which we talked about last week, that's a pretty intense solo bot. It's still just another turn where I'm like doing a tiny bit of thinking. Luckily, it's just a deck of cards you flip over. I'm like, okay, what would he do? What is his priority? When I want to be thinking about what I'm going to do on my next turn. And so I feel like it's a little hard to do well until you really know the solo bot. So yeah, played a game of Daitoshi. If you want to see that playthrough, it's up on my gaming top-down YouTube channel. Very, very cool game. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I really like Danny Garcia's game, so I didn't anticipate I wouldn't like this one. One of the cool parts about this one, in my opinion, is it has something that I feel like isn't very common in Euro games. It has what's called a follow mechanism. It's not like way rare, but basically you have 2 options on your turn. Like I said, a city turn or a production turn in your factory. When you take a production turn in your factory, every other player can also take a production turn in their factory, but their production turn isn't as good. The factory has blue and pink check marks, and if you're the one that is the leader or choosing that production action on your turn, then you get to activate some of your machines twice for both check marks. And if you're a follower, where it's not your turn, but I can still produce, I don't get to do the pink check marks. So I don't get to produce quite as much because it's not my turn. But in a multiplayer game, it would help like keep you invested where, right, oh, I get to do something, even though it's not my turn, which is something I do really enjoy. So again, I haven't played this with another human being yet, but yeah, very cool. Like it a lot. Don't think I'll be getting rid of it anytime soon. Excited to play it with another human. Is that all the games I have on there, Devin? I think it maybe was. Any surprise board games you're going to throw at me?
No, I wish.
No, it's okay. Hey, the Surprise Vampire Survivors poll was pretty cool, so we're good with that. All right, Devin, we're going to hop back to our faces just for a second. And any games that you're excited about? Any video games? I'm guessing you're probably pumped to play more Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, I'm going to play Vampire Survivors when I can. And then if I can get back to streaming this next week, I will be starting Tears of the Kingdom for the first time ever.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
So that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the very best Zelda games ever. I love that one. It's hard for me to rank like Zelda and Mario games because nostalgia is such a big factor for those, because like the first ones we played was like when we were 5 years old. But in Zelda, I do think Tears of the Kingdom is probably the best one. But A Link to the Past and for me, Twilight Princess are probably my two other favorites. But those are the nostalgia picks for sure.
Super Mario Brothers is the best Mario.
The first one?
The Super Nintendo.
Oh, Super Mario World.
Super Mario World,
yeah,
yes.
That one is also very hard to beat for me. But
they've made some dang good Mario games.
Super Mario Galaxy, I think, is also uber
Galaxy's
excellent.
Way good.
So yeah, but I agree. Those earlier ones, those Super Nintendo ones, I really like Super Mario 3 as well. That one was on the NES. That's the one where you can get the Tanuki suit.
Tanuki suit?
Yeah, where he's got the squirrel tail.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And that one's really tough.
The sun chases you. You have to jump into the block in the black area on the end of every level.
Yep, exactly.
Very strange game.
That one's excellent.
But so is number 2. Number 2 is so weird. You can pick the
number 2 is uber
vegetables out of the ground.
Yeah, you're jumping on Birdo's eggs for some reason.
I think you fight a mouse.
You can play as Princess Peach. There is a mouse. Yeah, you're right.
That's a strange game.
Yeah, it is. You need to play Super Mario Wonder as well with that Switch, because it's a banger. Very pretty. That's probably the prettiest Mario game ever.
You know how they remastered like Spyro and some other games? They should remaster Mario 64.
I agree with that. I don't think every Mario game needs a remaster. Like Super Mario World, I don't think does, because it's just like 2D and beautiful and that pixel art. But yeah, Super Mario 64, I agree.
Be so interesting.
I think they did release it on the 3DS, but it wasn't like a full remake. It was just like you can control the camera a little bit better now because there's like another stick. But I don't know. Fun. What were we even talking about? Video games we're excited about. Vampire Survivors. What got us to that? Something must have.
Yeah, Zelda.
Oh yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. There you go. Yeah, for video games that I'm excited about this week, I'll probably keep playing a Ranger. I like that one. And I'm also addicted to Vampire Survivors, so those will probably be my two. For board games, I've got 3. Well, I've got a bunch more than 3, but the three I'm most excited for, I'm going to go down to the table and show you. So here they are. If the camera will go, it's going. First up, we got my Arcs Delivery, baby. Ooh. Biggest game of 2024, I believe. Got it all sleeved and unboxed. There's an unboxing on the channel. Very excited to play it in person. I've played it twice digitally on Tabletop Simulator, one time with Devin. I also got the Blighted Reach expansion, which is a box about 3 times as big as this one. So excited to hop into that as well, but that's a little ways down the road after I've played with a group that's very much mastered Arcs. So very excited for that one. Love me a leader game. Then 2 more. I got baseball highlights, which...
Oh, that looks sweet.
Yeah, it's a very well-loved card game about playing baseball. You can play it solo, or you can play like 2 or 3 or 4 player games. Or you can even play like a 8-player tournament that's supposed to simulate like a baseball season. It's supposed to be excellent. It's a card game, and there's 2 versions. There's like the regular version, Baseball Highlights 2045. I got the introductory spring training, which only has about half the content as the base game because it was on an Uber sale for $5. But then you probably can't hear me because I'm leaning way far away. I ordered the base game deck, so it's not missing any content. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 expansions for it that are new teams and new free agents that go in the free agent deck. And it came with the tournament module. So instead of just having 2 player boards, I do have 4. So you can play a 4-player game. So I basically made a Frankenstein version of Baseball Highlights 2045 because it's out of print and can't be bought right now. With the spring training one, which is just the smaller one that has like half the stuff in it, and then bought a bunch of these.
Wow.
So, anyways,
he does it right.
It's supposed to be a great, great card game. I'm very excited to try it. Yeah, that's that one. And then last up, I just got the expansion to, I wouldn't say one of my very favorite games, but one that I really enjoy, called Honey Buzz, and this is Honey Buzz Fall Flavors.
Oh, do they have pumpkin spice in there?
Do you remember Honey Buzz? You've played it once.
I remember the fun pieces.
It does have fun pieces, and so does this one. And so you mentioned a pumpkin, and I thought, well, let's at least pull these out and show them, because there is...
Those apples or tomatoes?
I think it's an apple. Yeah, it looks
like
an apple. How does it feel? It's not quite as squishy as the honey, but it's...
Oh, it's still nice.
That is part of the allure of these games, in my opinion, is how cool the pieces are.
I want to like put this on a necklace or something.
And then there's a pumpkin and a pear. And they are nice and squishy. You know, I like those. So I haven't done the unboxing for this one yet, so it's just still here. Cards are still in sleeves, but this expansion I think adds 5 expansion modules to Honey Buzz, and you can mix and match and choose which ones you play with. So
get those away from me or I'll start chewing on them.
I really like Honey Buzz. It's a fun... I don't even know what kind of...
I need to break one.
They would be fun to destroy. But before you destroy it, I'm going to put it back in its baggie.
Yeah, after he does the unboxing, I'll destroy
all of those. Yeah, or we need to order you a second copy that you can explode.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's Honey Buzz Fall Flavors, and that's the third game that I'm excited to try. Hopefully this week. We'll see if I get to all of them. All right, Devin, we are...
Nice. We got some big releases this week. Metal Slug Tactics.
That was actually last week. I actually forgot to remove that from the document.
It's the only part I took like ambition on. I was like, yeah, here we go.
For big releases this week, I think that I was trying to remember. There was a game that I think just came out. Stalker 2, I think, comes out on Xbox. I haven't played a Stalker game, but it's supposed to be pretty good. And I do feel like there was maybe one more. Ugh. But yeah, Metal Slug Tactics was last week. All right. Well, that's it for what we are excited about. So, video game news this week. There's almost no news right now. It's like right before Black Friday. And I don't think anything is going to be announced until the Game Awards. It's just not the time of year when that kind of thing happens. Also in board games, there are like some smaller announcements like, yeah, we're making this game for next year, or new things hitting Kickstarter. So we'll go over those in a minute, but starting with just a couple very small video game news items that I just thought were fun to cover. Both Xbox and PlayStation are having Black Friday sales. So if you want a new Xbox, you can get $50 off of an Xbox Series S or X, I believe. And if you want a new PlayStation, then you can get, and I don't remember how to get this one up on the screen. You might not be able to. A $450 digital PlayStation for $379. So
$70 off.
So $70 off and $50 off for those. So if you wanted one of those, that's probably the time. I'm guessing those will continue to go down in price now that the PlayStation 5 Pro is out, though. So you might be able to get it even cheaper later, but that's a pretty good price for Black Friday, in my opinion. Other than that, throw this one up, Devin. There are just a few comments that Mr. Phil Spencer over at Xbox made this week that have been the talk of the town. And I think one of them kind of started with this new marketing promo that Xbox has started, and it's called Xbox. This is an Xbox, and it won't go full screen because of my stupid YouTube plugin. I need to get rid of that. Basically, they just show everything is an Xbox except for a bento box. A bento box is a bento box. But
what's a bento box?
It's like a little box of fried chicken and sushi and rice and stuff. And so everyone was kind of making fun of this, saying like, okay, well, if everything's an Xbox, my toaster is an Xbox, my PlayStation is an Xbox. But it's
my girlfriend is an Xbox.
It's very much in line with. I
don't understand. What are we talking about? Everything's an Xbox?
Yeah, it's kind of Xbox's new directive where they want you to just be playing Xbox everywhere. You can play Xbox games on your phone, on your PC.
Oh, I get
on your Xbox. Okay. And so because of that coming out, there was a little bit of chatter this week on like, well, if everything's an Xbox, are they even going to make another Xbox? And so I've got 3 quotes from Phil Spencer. He talked about a few different things. First one, he said, we'll definitely do more consoles. This is just kind of their new directive where you can play Xbox everywhere. So I think some people were afraid, like, they're not going to make an Xbox Series Y. I don't know what they're going to call that, but sounds like they are. The 2 other things that Phil said in an interview were, he was asked a question, I think, about PlayStation 5 ports and what other games might be coming to PlayStation. And his quote was, I do not see any sort of red tape or red lines in our portfolio. Basically meaning they're saying that nothing is off of the table. We kind of already knew that. They've been sending a lot of stuff over. Even Indiana Jones is coming over just a few months after it releases, which I think it comes out next month. And then he also said that his team is working on prototypes of a handheld device, kind of like a Steam Deck.
That's exciting.
But they're trying to make sure they release one that they're proud of, so it's going to be a little more time, probably a couple more years before that's up. So,
I think that if we were in a world of all handheld devices that were so good, I would almost prefer to play games that way.
Yeah.
Imagine a perfect handheld device with 0 input lag, crazy internet connection. You and we go to another person's home who also has one, and we're all playing Fortnite in the same room, or we're all playing something.
Yeah, because it has the screen on it, and it is the unit. It kind of makes the days of when I was carrying my Xbox in my backpack to my friend's house to have a LAN party, and we needed 2 giant TVs and a projector. Mm-hmm. You could kind of have that just with your own room.
Yeah, so simply. There's so many times where I'm like, dang, I wish I had my PlayStation here. Mm-hmm. This would make this way more fun.
Yeah.
We just need handheld devices to really leap forward,
and they're slowly doing it.
Yeah, they just need to be pretty much flawless, and then I will fully adopt that.
Yeah, I agree. I have a Rogue Ally, which is what we run the podcast on every week, which is at least when we're here in person, and it's what I run it on every week. It's what I film all of my content on, which is pretty cool. I got it for $400. It's not the extreme version, just the base version, but it runs this pretty well, and it can play all kinds of games. I played Liza P on it. And then I played tons of indie games on it. Very, very cool unit.
And why did you pick it over a Steam Deck?
It was a bit cheaper. Steam Deck doesn't have a 1080 screen. It's like 900p or something. And the refresh rate on the screen on the Ally is 120 hertz. So we can do 120.
And aren't you like limited by Steam Deck's software or something?
The Steam Deck does come with Steam OS, which I think is pretty optimized for Steam, but there are like some games that I don't think like run as perfectly. But the Ally has Windows, which definitely has a bit more bloat just because it's Windows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know, it runs games pretty dang well. I've been very much impressed.
I really do. I want one of the 2, but I'll probably wait until new versions.
Yeah.
But I really do. I think it'd be super, super fun to own.
You know what? That reminds me of one more piece of news. So
I thought you got me in.
Reminds me that I bought you a present. No, I wish I did, but let me see.
Speaking of that, here's your Rogue Ally.
Steam announced this week that they're doing a limited run of a limited edition white Steam Deck. I don't think it's different in any way.
It's cool.
Other than being white. Let me see if I can. I got to go to the screen. You should be able to see that now, I think. Very cool. Expensive. $680. The Steam Deck does have different like levels of like storage and quality of the glass and stuff. So this might only be for like the higher level, but very cool. If you want that, I think it's they're going to be available to pre-order on the 18th, it looks like. So that was a good call out talking about handhelds. I didn't want to forget that.
Yeah, I don't know. Are cool.
You actually might not be able to see that. Am I on the right screen? Oh, I am. Yeah, you can see that.
Great work.
Yeah, look at me. I know what I'm doing.
Didn't go.
But yeah, man, I also love my Rogue Ally. If it wasn't plugged in here to do the podcast stuff so much, like it's always exporting like a video from CapCut or something, then I would use it more. Mm-hmm. So eventually I do want to replace it there with like a little Mac Mini or some like little powerful PC that doesn't have a screen.
Well, and imagine if I had one too and they somehow were pretty seamless together. They had some connection between them that was very fast. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's fun even just owning it solo, but
yeah, I agree.
It'd be fun if I could sit right here and we could play Vampire Survivors together on our own little
you totally
things,
can.
Like little kids.
Through Steam, we totally could.
Yeah, it's super cool.
So yeah, they're awesome. I hope that Microsoft can really nail theirs when it finally does come out. Anyways, I think that is it for video game news back here on our faces. Was there anything else I had there, Devin?
Nope.
I don't think so. All right, Devin, that brings us to Crowdfunding Corner for the week of November 15th. This video might go up on the 16th just due to timing here, but we've got 7 games that I thought looked really good. This is a killer week, in my opinion. There are so many games in crowdfunding, I can't cover all of them, but these ones looked really cool. We usually cover games that end, whose campaigns end in like the next 2 weeks, and a couple of these were cutting it really close. This first one had kind of a shorter campaign, which made it a little trickier, but Devin, this is a Dice Throne campaign, which is
oh yeah, I didn't even notice. I should have.
That's all right. This is Dice Throne Outcasts is what it's called. It has 4 new characters, and then it also has an expansion for Dice Throne Adventures, which is kind of the dungeon crawling mode of Dice Throne, excuse me. And it seems like this is with characters that are kind of in the Creative Commons, so they're not having to pay like licensing fees to Marvel and stuff, because a lot of their recent content is Marvel and X-Men and stuff, so they'll probably make quite a bit more money, or a higher percentage on this, because they don't have to share money with Marvel. So, and I do like their own like original characters. I think are really cool. These 4 are I think meant to be like a little more advanced, but I think they do have like a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 6 in the 1 to 6 difficulty range. Anyway, so let's scroll down here and look at some of these characters. Again, just awesome art by Manny Tremblay. And the 4 characters are the Pale Lady, the Headless Horseman, Raveness, and the Necromancer. So there is a little bit more information on each of them here. Where is it? Here. And then for Dice Throne Adventures, it's the Unchained expansion, has a new boss battle. And then I think 3 of these, one-shot maps, which is meant to make Dice Throne Adventures a bit of a shorter experience instead of a big scenario to get through the dungeon and then a second separate big scenario to defeat the boss. This is a one-shot map, so it's you fight some minions on your way to the boss and then fight the boss. Very much inspired by Dice Throne Marvel Missions, I think is what it's called, which should be delivering to me in the next month or so, which I think we'll play and will be very fun. It's very similar, but one-shot maps where you fight some minions and then fight a Marvel villain on the back, and I think it comes with 20 different scenarios. So anyways, little mini expansion, all fits in the Dice Throne Adventures box, but I think the big thing here for most people is the 4 new characters. And then we'll talk about the strong box. But first up is the Pale Lady. She kind of has a unique mechanism that they had in one of their season 2 characters, the pirate character. I can't remember, the cursed pirate, I think, because she could become cursed on the other side. The Pale Lady transforms into a werewolf at certain points, and her board flips over to the werewolf side. Very, very cool. Again, love the artwork. The let's see, I feel like she had a unique piece here, but maybe not. I think it's just the board mostly. She is a 3 out of 6. Then the Raveness, she doesn't have a double-sided board, but she does have a completely separate dial called the Vitality Dial. Not 100% sure what that does, but it must be used in some way for this cool raven. I never know. What's the difference between a crow and a raven? Have any idea?
No, they just gave it 2 names. I honestly have no idea.
Since she's called the Raveness, I'm going to assume that's a raven. But who knows? All right. Next up is the Headless Horseman. Very cool looking dude.
Awesome.
He doesn't have a unique piece, but looks pretty cool. He's a level 4. Yeah, really like that Headless Horseman art there. And last up is the Necromancer. He is a 6. He comes with 5 different standees, like zombies and skeleton dudes that you can summon, and you'll have a dial for that corpse that you have summoned. And so he becomes a little more complex in that way. It looks like he has a... Oh, that's just the same side of a board, actually. So he is the most complex. Again, very cool. These 4 new characters come in what they're calling the new strong box. Let me see if I think the strong box was detailed up here. Where do they detail it, actually?
Which means the box is harder?
The box is different. So if you can see behind me, maybe... Well, I could pull this out. Okay, let's go. This is one of their battle chests from their earlier campaigns. That should be, I think, in the window there. It's big. It has 8 characters in it and is very tall and takes up like half of a Calyx shelf. This strong box only has 4 characters in it, so it's a different shape, different size, and they've added this cool feature, and they call it a strong box because of this feature that it's meant to be like pretty durable. But the cover around the top comes off instead of being like a slip down cover like most board games have. Oh, here it is. The 4 Hero Strong Box. And it has these little like locking magnet mechanisms that slot in holes on both sides. And they had a video where they actually showed someone lifting it from the top, and it seems pretty dang strong. So the cool thing there is 4 of them can fit in a Calyx, kind of like that, with the characters already displayed on the side.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Which is very cool looking. So new box. They said they're going to try and use this strong box on all of their campaigns going forward. And I think those characters look really cool.
I like the pale lady a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like I need her werewolf form. I just think she'd just be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They have a bunch of add-ons. You can get like the sculpts or these pre-painted miniatures for the adventure mode. Acrylic tokens, which would be really cool. I just don't have acrylic tokens for any of the other characters. I probably won't get those. Neoprene playmats, they have those for all the characters as well as all of the characters in the other versions. So yeah, lots of stuff there. I'm pretty interested in the 4 new characters. I thought Dice Throne Adventures was fun. Played it probably 10 times, but I did think each scenario was a little long, so I got rid of that one, and I'm very much looking forward to Dice Throne Marvel Missions, because those are meant to be shorter. So that one ends on, if I can scroll back up, November 18th. So you've only got 3 more days for that one, and probably 2 days by the time you see this. But that's Dice Throne Outcasts. Next up is a crowdfunding campaign from Bitewing Games here in Utah. And this is a trilogy of games from the good doctor
Reiner Knizia.
He can't be escaped, Devin. He's on every episode. And these are 3 bigger games. He's made like 800 games at this point, and he makes all kinds of games, small card games, auctioning games. These are 3 somewhat bigger games. I don't really know how to explain that, but when someone says it's a bigger box Knizia game, that is a thing for some reason. They all have this sci-fi artwork. They're calling it like a sci-fi trilogy. And I think a cool thing they did here is they chose 3 different artists. One of them is Kwanchai Moria. One of them is Vincent Dutray. And the third one, we'll have to find the name as we go down because I can't remember I think it's a woman's name. Cool thing about this campaign, and also all plays campaigns, $4 shipping in the US, even if you get all 3 games. Just crazy. Because most campaigns are like, we'll get to one later in the episode that's like, man, shipping is expensive. I get it, but when they're able to subsidize it in some way, that pill goes down easier. All right, the 3 games are Silos. In this one, you play as aliens. You're trying to abduct people and cows. Has this cool piece here. You're gonna send your aliens down to the board. They're like alien imposters, kind of like the dude in Men in Black. And whoever has the most aliens in a certain spot gets to abduct the cow, who is a wild kind of meeple, and whoever has the second most, so it's area majority game, will get the person. And then when you get a set of all 4 types of people, the cow again counting as wild for any of those, then you get this like alien token, and if you get 5 of them, you win. And that tractor beam is going to move around the board, so each area will be kind of assessed at different points. Looks pretty fun. I like the artwork. It says, I think it said the time frame here. Maybe you didn't. I'm pretty sure it did. Oh, right here. Let's go down to Silos. It is 2 to 4 players, 40 to 60 minutes. Supposed to be pretty good. Got some good preview content. I really do like Space Biff. He does a great job. So a good resounding review from him is a good thing in my opinion. Next up is one called Ego. And this one is very odd, but not odd in a bad way. I think it seems pretty fun. You have like this ship is going to move along these 5 boards. It will always start on the same board and end on the same board, but the 3 boards in between will be in a different order and are double-sided and can be on either side. And the ship will move along kind of like a comic book panel to these different event sections, and then something will trigger there that will let you convert like one resource into another, get rid of these, what do they call them, like error tokens, or earn some points, and eventually, or draw some cards. And cards are really important during the auctions. Each of these boards has this circular auction event that takes place. And during those auctions, I thought they sounded very unique. If you win the auction, then you get first pick out of those 5 or 6 pie slices of that wheel. So you get to pick whatever you want. And then it goes to second place, third, fourth, fifth. And those are determined by when someone elects to pass or drop out of the auction. So if you start the auction and are the first person to pass, then you take the number 5, and you'll get the last worst option generally. But every time you continue in the auction, you have to burn cards to do so. So you really have to decide in your mind, am I going to double down and really try to win? Because you either want to be like first or pass so early that you didn't have to waste any of your cards, because they're a very precious resource in this game. Cool idea for an auction. Dr. Knizia does a lot of auction games. And that one I feel like seemed pretty unique in that way, where, I mean, that it's not incredibly unique, but I liked how that sounded at least. So that one is Ego. All 3 of these games have a free expansion that come with them if you buy them here during the Kickstarter campaign. They also have like crazy upgraded components you can get. Like this one comes with poker chips, 163 of them for every, well, it doesn't come with it actually. It's a $24 upgrade, but very cool. Also acrylic tokens for those offense tokens. Looks cool. Okay, last up is the simplest of the 3 games. It's kind of a fun puzzle where you are a race of alien that has this little space saucer, and you're trying to land on all the planets first and then get back to your home base. You do that by moving around this little board. Let me see if there's a bigger board piece. Oh, that one will work. When you move, you can only move a single intersection. But when the planets move, they are all in orbit. So they will move a huge distance to their next spot. And so you'll be playing cards to move planets. Sometimes you can actually turn a planet around and it'll start orbiting the other direction. and you can hitch a ride on the planet. You'll put your little spaceship meeple on top of a planet, and then when it moves, instead of you needing those 20 movement, you just kind of fly along with that. So this one's more of like a simpler game. I think the recommended age range on this one is lower. It plays in a little bit shorter time. But I thought that puzzle sounded pretty fun, actually. There are certain spots you can actually teleport from one side of the board to the other. Seems pretty cool. Just a race to be the first one to visit all the planets and then get back to your home base. I like Bitewing Games. I have a few of their games. I think they're really solid. They have somewhat of a partnership with Dr. Knizia lately. This is, I think, their second or third campaign of his for new games, which is kind of crazy. And again, I already talked about the shipping. I think it's very consumer friendly.
We've got to see the Knizia plushie.
Oh, did I skip past it?
It's down.
Oh, yeah. Knizia plushie. It's a Knizia alien plushie. Alien comes right out of his chest. Like that.
Crazy.
The alien plushie also comes in the bundle and save bundle. So the games are like $55, $50, and $45, something like that. $192 each separately. If you buy them in this bundle, you get them for $152, and you get an expansion for all three of them included. That's a pretty good deal. Still a lot, but you only have to add $4 for shipping, which is, again, kind of unheard of in this space. Or for $194, you get the expansion and the upgraded pieces for all of them, like the nice cows and the poker chips that we looked at, and the double layered boards, and the plushie of Dr. Knizia with the alien chest burster right there.
I never knew what he looked like, but now I do.
Have you not seen him? Okay, there is a either picture or video of him up at the top.
If I see him, is it going to ruin my opinion of this amazing person?
I don't think so. He's pretty cool. There's since he's made like 800 games, he's kind of old at this point. He's probably 60 or something. But he's still pretty cool, and he's German, I believe. Where is he? I swear it was right up here near the top. Oh, there he is. I'm gonna quiet that video a little bit, but let me see if I can find it.
That's him, huh?
That is him, the good doctor.
Cool guy.
Wearing sci-fi clothes.
He's got jelly beans on his bow tie.
I think he's kind of known for the bow ties as well. But anyways, that's him. Crazy. He speaks really good English as well. It's kind of cool. So that is that one. The trilogy of Knizia games from Bitewing Games. That one ends on Wednesday, November 20th. Okay, Devin. Recently I've been talking about Yokai Septet. I think it's a really great little card game. Excellent trick-taking game. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, where the cards also have this cool Japanese art on them, and every suit has a 7 in it, and the 7 is like the card you're trying to get. That company, Ninja Star Games, I think is what they're called, is releasing a new game. It's called Pride of Ninja. And it's a drafting game for 3 to 5 people. And it seems pretty awesome. So it's drafting like 7 Wonders. You have a hand of cards. You pick one, put it in front of you, and then pass your hand. And then you have to decide if you're going to play that card to your front row, which will be face up, or your back row, which will be face down. Then after everyone has drafted all of those cards and your back rows and front rows are filled, then everyone will flip over their cards. And based on what you have drafted, different characters do different things. Like if, I'm trying to remember all of the interaction points, but there are certain cards that, like if I have 5 of them, then I have like the majority and I'm able to slay you. And if you get slain at any point in like the 6 levels of priority, then you lose all of your temporary points for the round. So you're watching what everyone else is taking too, which I think is one of the hardest parts about drafting games, is trying to remember what was in that hand of cards I just gave away.
Yeah, I can never remember that either.
And second is a lot of them feel like I'm just focused down on here on me, and I'm not worried about what any of you are doing.
Mm-hmm.
This one very much is not that, because you're looking to see, okay, they put that card face up. I know there's 5 of them in the deck. That's a ninja. If they have 2 ninjas, it's going to be something bad for me. They put a card face down in the back. What could that be? So you're very much more focused on what everyone else is doing. plays in about half an hour. There's also a stack of like red cards that you can add in for like some extra variation. I think it looks very, very cool. Pretty simple drafting game, but cool central mechanisms. And I like it when a game can kind of take a genre and kind of distill it down to like its essence. There's a small box with cards and those slay tokens in it. And you're just drafting, but since it's just down to like the purest essence, you can really focus on it. Like, okay, I need to pay attention to what Devin's saying and whatever, instead of there being 10 other things kind of getting in the way. I think it's $22 with $6 shipping in America. Again, pretty good price. That one is exciting to me. So that one is Pride of Ninja from Ninja Star Games. And that one ends on Kickstarter on November 20th as well. So on Wednesday. Okay, Devin, in this episode, we've got 2 pretty big, heavy Euro games. And this is the first one. It's called Clandestine. I would have said clandestine.
Same.
But I think either pronunciation is correct, but they said clandestine in the video. So that's what I'm going to say. This one is from a company called Brookspun Games. And it's a pretty heavy Euro game, which makes it a little tricky to even describe. But one of the central mechanisms is Mancala. So I think you'll pick up all of the meeples at a certain spot and then drop them off one at a time in moving from one spot to the next. And then the spot that you last drop one off on is usually where you get to activate something when that mechanism is used. And you have like the central road where they will rotate around. But each player also has their own board that is kind of connected to that road. And if you're able to get certain pieces like right in front of your board, then you can turn them down onto your own board. You're trying to set out cards there. Your own player board is also very cool. Let me see if I can...
Little factions look cool. There was some club in the Serpent Keepers.
Yeah, I think there are 5 different factions. I wonder if they'll have an image here.
The Garden Club.
Oh yeah, they're all behind each other. Hard to see. I'm sure they'll show them here in a second. Bunch of cards, 287 cards, and 155 secret cards. This is a heavy, expensive game. Lots of pawns. I was trying to find... Maybe I already skipped it. I must have. There is this cool dial inside your player board. I think this is the game. Maybe I'm confusing it with another. Oh, it's right here. A little hard to see. Can maybe zoom in a tiny bit. No, that didn't work. Well, here as you like level up your clan, then this dial will spin inside your board, and this window will kind of show you a different level up or something. So a pretty heavy, complex Euro game, but I like the way it looks. I like the Mancala mechanism. I really like it in 5 Tribes, which is an excellent game. I haven't played Trajan, but that's another one that people that like that mechanism really enjoy, I believe. So anyways, I think that's one to keep an eye on if you like heavy, complex games. Again, it's pricey. It's $90 for the deluxe pledge. I think the, where are they? Pledge comparisons. And that is the base one. They don't have like a more simple version than that. And then you can get fancier versions with medals, coins, and sleeves and stuff. But, and that's even before shipping. But looks very cool. It's got some good previews and a playthrough from the Dice Tower up already. That is Clandestine. That one ends on Thursday, the 21st. All right, next up is a bit lighter of a game. This one's called Ami Bunnies.
I would say Ammo Bunnies.
I think it's meant to be like amoeba mixed with bunny.
Amoeba.
But you might be right. Amo Bunnies. I don't know. And it says here, an adorable asymmetrical adventure. So there are a bunch of different bunnies in this game. You can play as a different one. And each of them plays a little bit differently and has a different win condition. So think Root, but much, much simpler. And the win conditions are a lot simpler as well. You're playing cards. In order to move your bunny kind of around the city, you have to play a card with a color on it matching the color of the road you're moving across. And here are the different bunnies that have different boards and different win conditions.
I do like how they're shaped differently.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. And then, yeah, you're just trying to complete your objective first before the other bunnies. I like the simplicity and kind of the boldness to say we're going to make an asymmetric game, which usually means the game would be harder to teach and more complex. But the goal here was to make an asymmetric game that wasn't tricky and doesn't like add like rules and teach overhead. So seems pretty cool, fairly light, but if you like cute art or like bunnies, then this might kind of be for you. I kind of like how they looked like a squished little. They remind me of Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine for some reason. I don't know. That weird Match 3 game. But anyways, that one is Omi Bunnies. I'm trying to see if I can find the price here. $39.99 includes the game and all stretch goals, where you can get it with an expansion for a bit more. Oh, they had a yarn bunny, but that one is sold out.
Dang it.
No more yarn bunnies. And I wonder what the shipping is like. Just curious. I didn't look down here at shipping. Where am I? I'm not far enough down. Here we go. Shipping, yeah, see, shipping's expensive. Ooh. 17, 20. Just hard. Shipping's expensive. And Amazon has spoiled us all. That's Omi Bunnies. I think it looks pretty cool. That one ends on Thursday, the 21st as well. Next up is a very unique one. This one is a print and play. They are not sending you a game.
Oh.
They will just send you some PDFs, and then you can print the game yourself. And depending on the pledge you pledge at, you can. They'll also send you files to print a box. So you can print a box yourself, print the cards and the board and the little otters yourself. The only thing I think you need to supply are some dice, which you can get for like $2 on Amazon. I have like hundreds of extra dice for some reason.
Oh, I bet.
Have I ever used them? No. They also have, for characters, you can provide your own meeples, or they have printouts for these otters. And otters have to be double-sided because there's like two different modes your otter can be in. It's like swim mode or like relax with a buddy and go down the stream mode. And so they made this little box you can fold up. It's a pretty simple game. You're trying to like dive. I like the little animations they've added here. You move your otter around. You're trying to dive down and get different treasures out of the water. And when you do dive, you'll flip over the card you're on. And I think depending on either a die roll or what you chose before you started the dive, you'll either dive at like the shallow or the deep level and can get more points that way. And at the beginning of your turn, you roll a die and it will go in one of the three rivers. And at the end of that turn, a wave will come there and kind of push that river along. And you're just trying to get the best stuff. Very cool and unique. I think it's fun when a company tries something kind of really unique, and that's what this is. For $8, you can get the files. Again, they're not shipping you anything. You're just getting all of the files to print it yourself. But they did say here in the campaign, they tried to keep it very simple. So all of the cuts are like straight lines. You're not doing anything crazy. So you can cut it with like a cutting machine. Or go to like a fancy printing place and have them cut it and laminate it or whatever for you. And then the pledge with the box is $13, and it comes with an exclusive collector's book, everything in the game, plus the files to fold your own box for everything and stretch goals. So that's Tide and Tangle, a pretty simple and light family game. And if you're a creative type, my 7-year-old really likes arts and crafts. Maybe I'll make a game with him. He would think that was really fun. So that's Tide and Tangle. That one ends on Sunday, the 24th. All right, Devin, is this the last one?
It is,
okay.
Yes.
This one is another... Devin, is this a complex game or an easy game?
I'd say based on the time, it's extremely complex.
Dang it, the time's there. The artwork makes it seem like it's kind of like Tide and Tangle, or like Omi Bunnies that we just looked at. This game is called Sweet Lands, and right after Sweet Lands, it says : advanced strategy game to build a city of sweets. And it very much is that 100 to 200 minutes. 200 minutes is 3.5 hours. Crazy. This game is from a company in Japan called, I'm going to mispronounce this, Uchibakoya, I think. And they have made a few games so far, and they're very well loved, but they're hard to get in America. I don't even think you can buy them right now. The two are Aqua Garden and Ostia. I've really wanted to get Ostia, but I can't find where to get it. This is their newest game, and I think this game is much heavier than even the other two.
There's a milk meeple. Oh my goodness.
There's milk.
Yes.
Rabbits. In this game, you're trying to become, I think, like the new mayor of the Sweet Lands by proving that you can make sweet stuff like the most efficiently. There's quite a bit going on, so I'm not going to like even try to explain too much of it, but you have, there's a main board up here where there's tracks up here for end game scoring, and depending on how far you push your piece up there, then different things you do on your other boards could be worth points, like 3-1 or 1-1. The action board is over here, has different actions on it, and you have to discard a card from your hand in order to place a token there to take an action. But if someone's already taken that action, then you have to discard 2 cards in order to place a cube, or I mean a disc, in the second spot. So the actions get more expensive as people go. I think that's a cool system, to be honest.
I do too.
I like multi-use cards. That's always a fun interaction point in a game. You're like, ooh, I love this card, and I want to use it for something else later. But if I use it now to discard for this action or whatever, that might be better. So I like that. Then each player has 3 boards.
Wow.
They have this board here where you are tracking like different buildings that you have purchased. You have this milk track up here. Got these bunnies here, and then your character here. These are kind of cool. They are empty boards that have different character sheets that your board opens up. You put a character sheet inside and then put it back down. So it's double layered with a character sheet in the middle, and all the characters are different. So there's a lot going on there. Then you also have the city board where you're excavating different land, and then you have to build roads from like the base of your city out to these different ports. And if you don't finish the road to the port, I think it's like -40 points at the end of the game, which seems like a lot. So you definitely want to finish that. So there's a lot of different things to focus on in this game. Pretty big, heavy, lots of pieces. The board size looks like it would be the same size as Kanban or On Mars behind me, like big Lacerda game. I don't know that for sure. I don't know if they have the box dimensions on here, but it looks like a big, tall Eagle Griffin Games box to me. Let's see, what else is there in this game? Very cool pieces, like pretty premium looking. They've got cheese tents, brownie buildings, cream puff house tokens, locomotive tokens, lots of cool things. Here is that character sheet. You just set that inside before you put the other side down for the double layer character there. Cool idea. Hopefully that hinge will stay fine for a long time. I have a couple games that use that, and they seem to be just fine. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's much else. It does have an upgrade pack where you can get even fancier meeples if you want them. Yeah, what size is this box? This box is very large, at 40 centimeters by 28 centimeters by 7 centimeters, and contains over 3 kilograms. That's like I think a kilogram is like 2.5 pounds. So you're at 7.5 pound box. That's a big game. $88, and which I don't think is terrible. I would maybe even hop in at that.
I thought it would be much more expensive, especially when I saw almost 500 pieces.
Yeah, there is a lot of pieces. The tricky part here for me, well, we'll get to that in a second. They also, here in this campaign, will let you add other games from their series. So here is Aqua Garden, like I mentioned. It's a much lighter game, but cool. Ocean pieces, supposed to be fun. And all the expansions to that. And then Ostia is the other one I've wanted. It also has a Mancala mechanism. You pick up pieces and then drop them along this kind of circular path. Man, even Ostia is expensive. 68 plus 43 for the expansion, plus 22 for both of those mini expansions. Whew, pricey. The other tricky part is these are coming from Japan, right? So shipping in Japan is not bad, 1,000 yen. I don't exactly know what that converts to be honest, but the problem is, and then that's also per 3.5 kilogram unit. So if you just order Sweetlands in America, that'd be $21.35 on top. If I order Sweetlands and Ostia, might be double that.
Wow.
So shipping is brutal on this one too. But these games are like impossible to get in America. So this one is tearing my heart out a little bit because I think it looks fun. I don't know who I'd play it with because it's a pretty heavy game and it's sometimes hard to get. But maybe with the art style, my wife, she might put up with that. But anyways, that is Sweetlands. Devin, that was 7 cool projects in my opinion this week. Tough decision. What's going to be your pick of the week? And then I'll try to type it in here quickly and pull it back up.
I mean, I think it's already on the screen.
Oh, Sweetlands.
I think I have to choose Sweetlands. If Sweetlands wasn't here, I'm going with Dice Throne Outcasts all day.
Okay.
But I don't know. It just looks cool. I've never really played a game that's too complex. Mm-hmm. I've played some complex games, but
you have.
I don't know the scale or the rating of this one. I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard to know before it's out. I think on Board Game Geek right now it's floating around a 4. But again, hard to know before it comes out. You've played Revive and some others that are, up in the high 3s, so I don't think this would be like much of a step up for you, but it definitely looks awesome.
It does, and they have a milk meeple. That's what sold me.
Devin likes the milk. Milk meeple.
Sure do.
For the win. I am very torn on mine. Like you mentioned.
What's he going to pick?
This one would have been one of my choices.
That's too bad.
And Dice Throne Outcast would also be one of my choices. Dice Throne is one of my favorite games of all time. Love it. I think for this one, though, I'm going to go with
the triple.
The trilogy from Reiner Knizia. Give a shout out to the Utah company, Bitewing Games. They do cool stuff. And I think this is a cool looking trilogy. I don't know that I want all 3 of the games. I don't know. That is a tough one for me.
Orbit looks like that old TV show with the chameleon and the teacher and
the Magic School Bus?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it kind of does.
Right in the Magic Orbit.
Yeah, am I right in the Magic Orbit?
Yeah, just like that. Oh, I can see it. I think these look very cool. They're a bit pricier than some of Bitewing's other games, but they are bigger. Has some cool components. Like I really love that tractor beam meeple. Like so cool with the cow under it. Very cool. So yeah, that's gonna be my pick of the week from the Good Doctor and Bitewing Games. Silos, Ego, and Orbit. Let me know what your pick of the week would have been for this week, November 15th, and that's gonna do it for Crowdfunding Corner. All right, Devin, to end our episode, I am going to go back. It would be really funny if I hopped over here and had been on our faces the whole time, but we weren't. We did it right. We are going to come back to our faces for just a second. Decompress just for a moment. All right, Dev, we're going to end this episode 33 of the podcast with the top 10 plus. It's going to be a few more than 10. Top 10 plus games for non-gamers. These are games that I've sometimes bought for like a mom or a friend for Christmas or birthday or something like that, that I feel like have gone over well with everyone I've taught them with, no matter if they really love games or are very intimidated by games and are very nervous to try a new one. So that is what this list is about. I think you've played probably half of these, so some of them all do most of the talking about, but any of the others that you have, pipe in and we'll just kind of tackle them together. So we're going to go down to the table for most of this list. You should still be able to see us at least a little bit there. And I'll get my phone off the screen. All right, Devin, the way I thought about this was, I think there are different kinds of people, which is weird, but there are.
Diversity.
And in games, there are people that like different things. One of the first things I thought of was our grandma, she loved card games. And I think for people that love card games, I have quite a few that I think are great. We're going to start with people that love very simple card games. If you know somebody that loves Uno or something like that, I think this next set of games, or I guess first set of games, are all really good. The set is going to be Deducto, Push, and Flip 7. They are a bit different. Deducto is a deduction game where it plays in like 20 minutes, maybe even 15. You're going to have some cards in your hand. Half of them are going to be, or not half, sorry. One of them is going to be facing out, so you don't know what it is. And every card has a character on it, like it might be a pig or a pigeon or a duck. And then some disguise on them. It might be a wig or a mustache or a hat. And they'll be in some location. It might be at the beach or on the forest, at the forest or something. And then you're going to play the other cards that are facing you in your hand in order to try to deduce what your character facing out is. So if I play a card down, the other players will tell me yes or no to whether the card I played has something in common with those three variables on my suspect. And whoever can figure out what they are first is the winner. It's a very simple game. I think you could even play this with kids, probably up down to like age 8. I think it says 8+. Yeah, it does say 8+ on the box. That one's been a hit. Very simple to teach, 15 minutes. Push. I think you've played this one, Devin. Very simple. Push your luck card game. The cards even look like Uno, but it's a much, much better game than Uno. In this one, you're going to start flipping cards over, and they are different colors and different numbers, 1 to 5. And you can make up to 3 piles of cards. And if you ever draw the same number that you already have, you can't place it in the same column. So I'd have to put it in the next column. Same thing with colors. You can't have 2 cards of the same color in a column. So you're going to keep flipping cards until you're ready to stop and take one of the piles. Those cards you'll put in front of you and you'll get to score. Or you bust. If you ever draw a card and you can't place it because you already have that color in all 3 columns or that number in all 3 columns, then you bust and you don't get any cards. Just the next few players in turn order will get them. This one is excellent. Also gone over very well with everyone I've played it with. That's Push. It also has this cool die that you'll roll at certain points when you do bust. You have to roll the bust die, and it will sometimes wipe a color from your bench. So those points or those cards you've taken before are not necessarily locked in. You might lose them too. So a bit of push your luck. It's fun. And then next up is Flip 7. I've reboxed this one since it didn't fit in the promotional box they sent me. But in this game, you're going to basically, it's like 21. The dealer will say, do you want a card? They might not even say that. You basically say, hit me or I'm out for the round. And if they hit you with a card you already have in your display, then you bust and are out for the round. I like pressure luck games for little card games. There are numbers 1 to 12. And so you can end up racking up quite a few points on your turn. Like this, for example, would get me all of those cards and points, and I might want to stop at that point and just bank those points around. First person to get to 200 points wins. There are some special cards, like this one that adds 6, and there's one that makes it so you can freeze somebody else, basically kicking them out of the round. And so there's a little bit of like some weird crazy cards, a second chance card that if you would bust, you just remove this card and you're not out of the round. So some fun goodness in there. That one just barely came out, pretty new. Also been a really big hit with people that don't play games. My mom's parents, or excuse me, my wife's parents really enjoyed that one. So for people that love card games, simple card games, I think that is a good set of games. All right, you've got the people that like word games. I was specifically thinking of Wordle here, Devin. Do you like a good Wordle?
Yeah. I enjoyed getting the Wordle first try. It's like,
Yeah, first try, all greens, exactly. Yep. I think Fiction is an awesome game for people that like Wordle, and you can play it in a big group. I think it says 2 to 8 plus players, and I think you can play with as many as you want. The shtick with this one is someone is the librarian, with the word lie in it, L-I-E, and you're trying to guess the word that they started with. But when the librarian is giving you those clues back on not in the word, but in the wrong spot, or perfectly correct, they always give one lie. And I feel like Wordle is a kind of ubiquitous thing, so people grasp onto this concept really easily. We've played this with our family events, and I think it's gone over pretty well too. So for the word game enthusiast in your family, Fiction, pretty small little game that I think people that like word games will really, really enjoy. Really like that one. Did you enjoy that one, Devin, when we played it?
Yeah, I think I was kind of sitting out,
just watching,
but I watched you all play it. Yes,
it's a little bit tricky, and you kind of have to change your mind from Wordle a little bit. Just you have to try to figure out which of those clues that they gave back to us is the lie, right?
Yeah, that's kind of tough.
It is a little tough, but it adds a little wrinkle to Wordle, which I think is a fun wrinkle. Okay, Devin, what other kind of people you got? You got the people that love, I don't know, air hockey, darts, anything that's like a little like a dexterity game. Like what's another one? You got bowling. I don't know. Just thinking of stuff. The two games I would recommend for them, again, very simple and light and easy games to get into, are, let me grab them, they're kind of bigger boxes. First up is Drop It. This one reminds me of Plinko from The Price is Right for some reason. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense. You're dropping pieces into this contraption with a little slit in the top with the goal of getting as many points as you can. And the higher your piece rests, you get more points. If you land on one of these little bonus circles, you get bonus points. But if your piece ever stops on a piece of the same shape or the same color, then that piece won't score any points. Very fun, simple game. You could play it with, it says 8 and up. I've played this with our 5-year-old just fine. You're just dropping pieces in the top, but it's a little bit of luck in there, the way that they bounce around. But sometimes you can pull off a pretty crazy, like, oh, I got that to stick exactly where I wanted it to. Always been a hit. I don't think anyone has disliked that one. So let's Drop It. And then next up is a slightly bigger boy. Ugh. This is an excellent 2-player game called Clask. It just fits on the screen. Look how beautiful that is. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Jinx, you owe me a Clask. This one is basically air hockey, but much better. Better for a lot of reasons. It's much smaller. You don't need to plug it in. And it's only like $50 instead of $1,000. The cool thing about this game, well, there's a lot of cool things. You have this piece up top. You control it through a really strong magnet on the bottom of the table, which is really fun because your hand's not like in the way, or in air hockey, like getting crushed by the puck, you know. And then you're trying to make this yellow ball into your opponent's goal. But the one other wrinkle here, and it's the first one to get 6 points, wins. The one other wrinkle, I guess there's technically two, are if you ever accidentally put your own piece in your own goal, that's called a Clask, and your opponent scores. So you got to keep your goalie far away enough from your own goal. And then the biggest and best twist in this game are the 3 white biscuits right here in the middle of the table. They're magnetic and basically want to stick to your piece. So you have to keep your piece away from them. If you ever get 2 of them stuck to your black pawn, then your opponent wins the point. And I think that's the most fun wrinkle in the game. You're constantly trying to not only score the yellow ball, but knock those biscuits into your opponent's puck. And you can do it pretty easily once you have practiced for 5 minutes. You can hit the yellow ball, have it hit a biscuit, launch it towards them. They have to hurry and move their puck out of the way. You can play this game in 5 minutes, and I think it's some of the best 5 minutes in a dexterity board game. Devin, you've played this one. Do you agree it's a fun time?
It is. There's a lot to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So many times I was like, oh, I'm going to block that ball from going in my goal. Little did I know I put my pawn right in my goal.
Yep.
Or you're just trying to send little white marshmallows at me.
Yep.
While shooting the ball. And I was like, I don't know if I should dodge that or block the ball.
Yeah, if you get those biscuits on your opponent's side, like, you can make it so that they almost have to avoid like half of their field because there's 2 biscuits just sitting over there. Lots of fun. Very simple. Quite a bit of like fun depth in there though. So I think Classic is excellent. They actually make a bigger one that's round and 4 players. I think you.
Wow.
I think there's 4 goals on that one, but I haven't played that one. 2-player version is excellent though. Also designed in Denmark. A little shout out to Denmark.
Go Denmark.
Okay, so those were the 2 recommendations for me for people that like dexterity games. Let's see, who is the next type of person? We've got I've got the person that likes card games again, but these are not as simple. So these are people that like card games like Rummy, or a little bit of a step up from your Unos.
Rummy?
Yeah,
Rummy Cube?
Rummy Cube is kind of based on Rummy. Rummy is like where you're trying to get runs, I think, of cards.
Interesting.
Kind of like phase 10-ish.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I have 2 picks for this one. I think the simplest and easiest one, I think everyone should have this one in their board game collection. You can get it for like $8, is No Thanks. This one looks like phase 10 cards a little bit, but the goal in this one isn't really to make runs. So I don't know why it's in this category, but here you go. This one will teach players bidding. You basically are bidding with these black little stones you have to not take cards. Eventually you're going to run out of those stones though, and those stones are worth -1 point each. So you want to keep as many as you can, because your goal in this game is to have the lowest score possible. And every card you take has a number on it, and you score that many points from it. So if the 33 comes out, nobody's going to want it. There's going to be a lot of stones left on it. So you're trying to pay attention to how many stones has Devin gotten rid of. Do I think his hand is almost empty? Because you keep them hidden in a closed hand. And it's sometimes there is a card that you don't mind having, because if I had the 32, then the 33 for me, since it's part of a run, even though that run is only 2 cards, is worth 0 points. So it's not bad for me. Since it's not bad for me, but I know it's bad for everyone else, I'm just going to keep putting stones on it and milk as many stones out of everybody else. So there's actually quite a bit of depth in No Thanks. It's excellent. Plays 3 to 7 players. Again, nobody has disliked this one. It has a bit more depth than you would think. Sometimes you get like a lucky card draw and stuff like that, but man, super great. Love No Thanks. The other one I think I like a little bit better than No Thanks, but they're very different, is Scout. In Scout, you're given a hand of cards, and the cards have a number value on the top and on the bottom. I don't know if it shows it there on... Ooh, that's very small. I can maybe zoom in, but that might be a little tricky. Hey, look what I did.
Wow.
The cards have a different number and a different color on the top and bottom, and when you're given your hand of cards, you can't rearrange them. You have to decide at the beginning of the round if you're going to use your cards the way they are, or one time flip them over and use them for the upside down side. Then you're trying to make sets, kind of like phase 10. They can be a set or a run, and you have to beat the set or run that was last played in order to and if you beat it, then you get to take all the cards that were in it, and those cards are a point each. If somebody can't beat it, then you get a token for a point. Just one of the very best card games ever for tiny little box that you can take everywhere. So you can see here, I think it was nominated for Game of the Year in 2022, and just excellent. They even sell that one at Target now in a little different shape of a box. Scout is super, super good. I bought that one for our mom, and actually played it with her, and I think she enjoyed it. Again, someone has played Phase 10 or kind of run-based games. I think No Thanks and Scout are like home runs. Just great. All right, Devin.
What else we got?
These are, it's hard to know. I've got too many picks down here maybe, but I think the next type of person is somebody that likes a party game. Like some examples of that might be, I mean, some of them are games I don't really enjoy, but what's that one? Cards Against Humanity. And other games like that are kind of like or code names, or like we're gonna have like a fun group experience together where we hopefully
apples to apples.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
This one's called, very pretty cover, Wavelength. Ooh. In Wavelength, you split into 2 different teams, and it's kind of like charades. Well, it's not, but in the fashion that one person gets up from that team and then will stand there with this board. And then they take a card, and the card will tell them something like, well, the card will have 2 things on it saying that this dial, the left side of the dial would be something quiet, a quiet place, and the right side of the dial would be a loud place. Then they have to spin this white kind of middle piece without looking at it, and it will show like where on that dial they want to get their team to guess. So then they try to give a clue that's like pointing there. So that would be something that's just a little bit more loud than the middle, right?
So like a coffee shop. No, that's probably quieter.
That might be a little quieter. What's like
the subway?
Okay, yeah, maybe. Or
the skate park.
Okay, skate park. Cool. There's this little blue cover that gets closed in front of that, so the rest of your team can't see that. And then they use this red dial to like crank it to where they think it is, and they can talk amongst the team. And then there's the fun moment where you reveal it, remove the blue dial, and wherever that red thing is pointing, if it's somewhere in the 2, 3, or 4 point section, then your team scores. And the first team to get to like 12 points or something wins. It's very fun because
that's super cool.
You can play with a huge group. Anyone that's like nervous about games they don't have to be the clue giver. They can just sit there and kind of help guess. So that one has gone over really well with big groups and family as well.
Yeah, it seems way fun. I've never played it, but I have seen some videos on this, and
yeah,
it seems cool. I was kind of curious about the mechanics, but now it's explained to me, and it seems fun.
Yeah, it's a good one. Very good if you play games in parties. So good one for the party gamer, for somebody that just likes like big family events. Okay, we got a few more. I think this is tough. We got the person that likes deduction. We already kind of went over deducto, but that was a little simpler. And maybe solving escape rooms or something, like solving a puzzle together in a group. I got 2 games for that. First one is called Bomb Busters. This is a pretty new game this year. And in this one, you're trying to work together to defuse a bomb. And the way you do that is kind of a number puzzle. Think like Sudoku or something. Every player has this tray of wires, and you have to clip all the blue wires. And you're going to put the wires in order, ascending order from lowest to highest. On your turn, you're going to point at one of your teammates' wires and say, is that one a 12? You'd probably point at the most right tile to do that. And if it is, then you both get to put your 12 down. Hooray, you snipped it correctly. If not, this dial ticks down, and if you ever get here, it explodes and you lose. Very, very fun cooperative game where you have to like use deduction and like numbers to figure out, okay, if he has a 12 was in his 3rd most spot from the right, that means that the 2 next to it also have to be 12s because 12 is the highest number. So you're trying to give clues to your teammates. You can't talk to them about certain things. You can talk in this game, but there are like certain things in the rule books that tells you can't say. So very fun game. It also has 66 different missions in it. The first 7 are like introductory, and then number 8 is like the base game with the blue, yellow, and red wires. And then from there you open these like surprise packs when you get to certain numbers, and they'll add new stuff, new stickers that go in the rule book, and it's fun.
It's kind of fun. The game's kind of like a video game. You've got a tutorial and a campaign and increasing difficulty and bosses and new content. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. You could play it for quite a while, 66 different times. And the time I played it took about 40 minutes. Maybe
for one mission?
Maybe 30. Yeah, for one. There's quite a bit of tension. Like people are get a little nervous about like clipping the wrong wires. You can use these like helper equipment cards so that you don't accidentally like mess up and stuff. And we were talking a little bit back and forth without revealing like too much. I like a cooperative deduction game. I think they're fun. Bomb Busters is great. If you want one in a smaller box that plays in a little bit shorter of a time and is also excellent, this is the Shipwreck Arcana. In this one player will be kind of the it player, I guess. They'll draw 2 tokens from a bag, and that the tokens will have numbers on them from 1 to 7. So you might have gotten the 3 and the 4. And then you have to place one of the tokens in front of one of these 4 cards, and those cards will change throughout the game. So the clues you can give will change as well. And for example, this card says you can only place a number here if the one left in your hand is an odd number. And so by where you place that one token, you're trying to give enough clues to your team so they can deduce what the token that's still in your hand, the value of it is. Very fun. That one, you have free reign to talk amongst the people that aren't the clue giver. So very, very fun. You can play this with almost an unlimited number of people. It is excellent. The variability of the cards make it pretty different from game to game. Really, really good. And this one fits in like a purse or anything. Mine's a little bit beat up, got a little water damage there, but man, what an awesome game. This is probably one of my very favorite cooperative games. Shipwreck Arcana and Bomb Busters for the person that likes numbers and deduction. Yeah.
Awesome. I've never played Shipwreck Arcana. I've heard you say the name.
Yeah, it's
many times.
It's pretty good. Really like it. Okay, we're almost to the end here. Next up, we've got the person that loves a puzzle. There are people
you do.
People like puzzles. I like puzzles in video games and puzzles in board games. I'm not a huge fan of jigsaw puzzles. I think they're okay. They're okay. They're just too long, right? Like, if you want to do a 1,000-piece puzzle, that's like, depending on how many people you have doing it, you're sitting there for 4 hours or something.
Oh, yeah.
But for the person that likes puzzles, I think this is an excellent game. Pretty new, pretty popular. It's called Harmonies. And in this game, you are taking tokens from the central board, and you're trying to puzzle, hence the puzzle, puzzle out, where do I need to put these tokens in order to make the best patterns? Because I'm going to score for the different patterns in my habitat. Like I want a really long river, for example. I want tall trees and things like that. And then you also have to match the patterns on these animal cards in order to place an animal in your habitat, and they'll be shown by these little cool orange cubes. And once you take a card, you can actually put multiple animals of that type in your habitat if you meet that pattern more than one time. And the more of that animal you can get in your habitat, the more points you can earn from it. So it's like a puzzle on top of a puzzle. It's an awesome game. This game has basically replaced Azul for me, which is a very, very famous game, but I like this one a bit better. But it's very puzzly. It's not hard. I think you can play it in 20 to 30 minutes. But really, really good. I really enjoy this one. So that is Harmonies for your friend, neighbor, relative, mom, dad that likes the puzzles.
Amazing.
All right. We're almost done here, Devin. I think 3 more categories, I think, is all. Well, I mean, we're going to have 4. Next up is for the person in your life that loves more card games. But this time it's not simple card games. It's not like rummy-based card games. This is the person that loves trick-taking games.
Is that me?
Maybe.
Do I like deck building? Or wait.
That's a bit different.
Oh, okay.
Trick-taking are games like Hearts, or where you play down a card, and then the next person has to play a card of the same suit. And then if they play a card of a higher value of the same suit, then they'll take the trick. And in some trick-taking games, you want to take the trick, and some you don't, and some you have to bid on how many tricks you win. That's a whole genre that, again, like, I feel like lots of grandparents like really love. Very old genre. It's been around forever. And I think these two are excellent. First up is Cat in the Box. In this one, the shtick is every card in your hand is suitless. They're all black until you play them. When you play one, then you will put a little piece on the board to determine what suit it was. So it's kind of Schrodinger's cat here a little bit. Once you play a card, then you decide, I played a 3, but was it the red, the blue, the yellow, or the green 3? And using that system, you're trying to win a certain number of tricks, and you're also trying to make groupings of your little tokens, and you can score points that way. So it's a really cool and intriguing twist on trick taking where you're wanting to do both of those things: win the tricks and make groupings of your pieces. Really excellent. Very, very, very famous one from the last few years. The next one is brand new. Well, at least the reprint is. It's been around for a few years. It's called Yokai Septet. And in this one, I would say this one is slightly more advanced just because you play in teams, primarily. It's a team of 2 and a team of 2. And this is the one where you are trying to win the 7s in the game. There's 7 suits. Each suit has a 7, but that 7 is in a different spot in the range of values for each suit. At the start of the round, you get to pass 3 cards to your teammate. They'll pass 3 back to you. And then between the two of you, you're trying to win the most of those 7 cards. So it's very good. Love it. And this new pocket version, man, tiny little box. So trick-taking games, Grandma might love Hearts or something like that. Cat in the Box and Yokai Septet are my 2 picks for that. Okay, Devin. We've got, you just mentioned deck building.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who this kind of person would be. So this is a non-gamer, somebody that doesn't play a lot of games, but they like tinkering, building something new. Maybe they've been into Pokemon or something, and they like building a Pokemon deck. I don't. If they're into Pokemon, I guess they are a gamer, so this is a bad example. But I think this game, Century, I have Golem Edition, but there's Century Spice Road and a bunch of other ones, is probably the best entry point into deck building. In this game, you start with like a hand of just a few basic cards, and then you'll be playing those cards down in order to get these cool crystals that'll upgrade from, I think, yellow to green to blue to pink. And then you will trade those to get better cards. And so your deck or hand of cards is continually getting better. After you've played all of your cards, you have to take a rest turn to pick them back up. Again, I've played this with my wife's parents, and they play no games. But this one was a hit. It's just like a fun, I'm trying to make a cool deck that can convert these crystals better than you do. And I think you're all about the deck building. This is a bit...
I have enjoyed deck building, yeah.
This is a bit light compared to some of the deck building games that you've really enjoyed, but...
Yeah, some of the deck building games that I've played have more of a description on the card of its power and passive abilities.
Exactly. Yep, this one is just symbols on the top left that say, this card lets you turn a blue into 2 greens and a yellow. So no text or anything else, but kind of an intro into how you could make a cool combo engine with cards. So Century is really great for this one's a slight step up from some of the other like beginner card games we've talked about today, but that's a great one. All right, 2 more, Devin. I'm gonna say you've got that one friend.
Mm-hmm.
The only game he's played is Ticket to Ride.
Ooh, I was gonna say Risk. I was like almost there.
Yeah, you were getting pretty close. And that's the only game he ever wants to play, is just Ticket to Ride all the time. That's actually pretty common, to be honest. This game's better than Ticket to Ride, in my opinion. Shorter than Ticket to Ride. It does come in a big box, so that's a little... The box is deceptive. But man, it's such a good game. So this is Caesar's Empire. In this game, you are trying to build out roads from the city of Rome here in the center of the board. And you'll be a certain color. And you'll just place one of your little, like, roads. They are little troop pieces, but it's basically a road. Kind of like in Ticket to Ride, you're building out the train tracks with the trains. And then after you place it, you count all the way back, or not count, but you trace that path all the way back to Rome. And everyone along that path gets a point for each section of the path. So as the paths get longer, there'll be a lot of points. And so a lot more interaction in this game with blocking, and you don't feel as bad about it. In Ticket to Ride, like if I block like your best like train path, people get very upset about that because it's kind of like game ruining in a game that took an hour or whatever. In this one, I can see you're building a big road. It's got 4 of your red pieces on it, and I stick a green one on it. Now I'm going to score as well while you're scoring yours. But I don't feel as bad because on your next turn, you're also going to block me. It's basically a game of just blocking. So because everyone's doing it, it makes it not as mean. You're also going to like these different city locations, and they will give you different goods here. And that's the only way you score, is by getting sets of goods and making your paths back to Rome. Big box, and kind of has this funny asterisk, the comic book art on it, and bigger pieces than it probably needed. But if you really can play this one in 20 to 30. It says 30 to 60 on the box. I think that is definitely skewed on the longer end. I've played this a few times, and it's usually under 30. So this is definitely my replacement for Ticket to Ride. I think it's better, more fun, more interactive. And I think your one friend that only wants to play Ticket to Ride will also like this one. All right, Devin, last up. We got the person that likes head-to-head stuff. Maybe he likes... What's he like? He likes boxing. Or... What's another head-to-head thing? One-on-one.
Foosball.
Foosball. There you go. Anything one-on-one.
Ping pong.
And maybe he's also a fan of The Lord of the Rings. This game's brand new this year. It's the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth. It's a version of Seven Wonders Duel. And it's a 2-player head-to-head battle. It takes about half an hour. And it really is excellent. It's very simple to teach also. On your turn, all you can do is either take a card, and you can only take a card that doesn't have a card on top of it. So here at the beginning, it's one of those 2 cards. Or if you have enough resources, you can buy a tower. And that's all you can do on your turn. But inside that framework, there's a bit of there's a lot of depth, basically, in what cards do I take? Which areas of the board do I want to put troops in? Do I want to try and move Frodo to Mount Doom? What do I want my focus to be? This one's got a lot of buzz and hype this year, and I think it's pretty well warranted. I've never played base Seven Wonders Duel, but this one's really, really great. And the Lord of the Rings theme on top of it with the awesome artwork, I think helps a lot.
Yeah, we played this super balanced 3-win conditions.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a great game. And the aesthetic of Lord of the Rings really, just made it good.
Yeah. And it's artwork by Vincent Dutray. It's just very pretty. Just really cool takes on all of those Lord of the Rings characters. So I guess maybe for the person that likes Lord of the Rings and head-to-head things, for the person that doesn't like Lord of the Rings but still likes head-to-head things, I think this is an excellent 10-minute, maybe 15-minute 2-player card game. This is District Noir. In this one, you are playing a series of rounds, and in each round you'll have 5 cards, but do 6 actions. 5 of your actions will be to play a card down in this line of cards, and then 1 action will be to take the most recent 5 cards from that line. So you get to decide at what point in my 6 turns am I going to pick up 5 cards, and those 5 cards will go in kind of a display in front of the player. You're trying to take good cards, leave bad cards for your opponent. So it's kind of a bit of a mind game with the other person. Like, when are you going to take? And another cool thing about this game, it has an alternate win condition. If you ever get all 3 of the city cards, you immediately win. You don't even go to scoring.
That's way cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So if you had 3 cards in your hand that you really wanted to keep, you would put them at the end and then just take them back?
Yeah, or you would maybe wait for the other player to have done their take turn, because then they won't be able to take the rest of the round.
Oh, okay.
And then you'd lay down, they'd lay down, you'd lay down, get as many of them out as you can, and then you can pick them up.
I see.
So, yeah, it's really great. The game has a lot of tension, because if my opponent has 2 of those city cards, basically I cannot do my take action before them for the rest of the game. Because if they have that 3rd city card in their hand and I take before them, they'll do just what you just said. They'll place it down, and on their next turn, pick it up and immediately win. So the game state changes a lot. One of the kickers is you shuffle the deck of cards, and 3 cards are put back in the box face down. So you never know what is not in the game.
That could be a city card?
It could be a city card. And so even though there's a lot of tension when someone has 2 and you don't think you can take before them.
That's kind of fun. I like that.
It might not even be in play.
Yeah.
So it's excellent. So good. District Noir is the other game I would recommend for people that like head-to-head things. That one's kind of more of a mind game. I've played that one many times with my wife, and once we play it once, it's usually okay, let's play again. And it's only 10 minutes. And then we play again and again, and sometimes we played it 4 or 5 times back to back to back. It's super good. And Devin, I think that means we've gone through the whole list of big pile of games I put here. I think that is a really good set if you're trying to get someone a game for their birthday, for Christmas, or to introduce somebody into the cool, awesome world of hobby board games. I don't think you can go wrong with any of the ones mentioned here. If you do want to pick up any of them, make sure to check out the affiliate link in the bottom in the description of this video. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next list here from Gaming Top Down. All right, Devin, I think that's going to do it for the podcast.
Yes, sir.
We had some fun segments in there. I need to go turn on Netflix and see if this fight has started.
All right.
I don't think it has. What time is it? Who knows? Nobody knows. Where's my phone?
9:50.
9:50. Okay. It might, Lacey just called me 2 minutes ago and texted me, I think it's starting soon. So we're going to go right now. Perfect timing. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you on the next episode 34 of Super Game Brothers podcast. Till then, see you later.
Bye-bye.